thetaxicentre.com. Trade only.
The Go Radio Football Show with thetaxicentre.com. Your exclusive taxi trade savings are waiting on you.
Let's go!
We're absolutely delighted the football is on this afternoon, although apparently there's one of the games that is in doubt. We're going to tell you more about that in a moment or two at St Johnstone. Match of the day for us here in Glasgow is Rangers the champions up against Dundee, and we've got the team news from the former Rangers star and current Kilmarnock star Chris Burke.
Yeah, Paul, just looking at it here, a few changes. I think, Arfield coming in, done really well coming off the bench against Hibs. I thought he was a real game changer. Giovanni Van Bronckhorst spoke about that. Arfield and Roof changed the game and got them the victory, with Roof with the penalty, and an inclusion also of Jack making the bench. Hopefully we can see a big apart from him. And Roof starts on the bench again with Fashion Sakala in for Kent. It looks as if Kent might have a injury problem, as he hasn't even made the substitutes bench. So the team is McGregor, Tavernier, Goldson, Bassey and Barisic at the back. You have Kamara, Arfield and Aribo in midfield, with Hadji and Fashion Sakala on the wide areas, probably supporting Alfredo Morelos.
Looking forward to the game. We'll give you the Dundee line-up very shortly. Simon Donnelly for this one. Rangers a chance to go 7 points clear again. Celtic staying on it the other night. Only one goal in it, but they dominated most of the game, but not all of it. There's been a lot of controversy about the goal. But how do you keep up with that man, Kyogo?
Yeah, obviously the controversial moment with the offside. It could have been slightly offside. He moves that quickly. I think some people during the week thought it was, the way they were talking about it, was 3 yards offside, but if he's offside, he's only just. But yeah, Celtic had a decent performance. I think they tired a wee bit in the second half. Hearts gave a good account of themselves in the second half. But yeah, Rangers have got the opportunity today to open up the gap again to 7, and then it's over to Celtic tomorrow to try and close it again. But I think that's going to be much the story for the rest of this season between the two teams. Good
start for GVB. We'll speak about him in action. Undefeated. Of course, he was in the stand, not the dugout, 13 days ago at Hampden, but they avenged that during the week. The pitch inspection going on, it's the 2nd of the morning. St Johnstone against Ross County. They did one a couple of hours ago. They're doing it again, and you suspect that game very much in doubt, St Johnstone Ross County.
Well, if it's a second inspection and a pitch inspection, then you would probably think, Paul, that the game might get cancelled. After one, having to assess it. I think it was a 1:30, another one at 2:00. Then that's in serious doubt, isn't it? So probably another game that we might get cancelled. A couple of weeks ago, Ross County missed out with COVID problems with the Hibs game, but that game looks as if it's in doubt.
No doubt at Ibrox there'll be a huge crowd this afternoon. I saw the cars heading there. Our own Jo Henry, she'll be there. We'll speak with her shortly. Craig Moore's also there. We might speak to Craig this afternoon. What about yourself last night? 1-goal defeat at Inverness. What time did you get home from the Highland capital?
I got home about 2:45. But I had a lot of time to reflect on that bus journey home.
What happened?
We didn't play well enough, Paul, if I'm honest. The first half we weren't great at all. The second half we kind of came into the game a little bit, and the manager did say after the game, he was disappointed in how we played the whole game, because we are good players, but we did not show it. We didn't win enough first and second balls, and Inverness in the second half probably didn't really do much as well as we did in both boxes. Not really a lot in the game, but they scored a very good goal, and the boy Welsh with, I think, his opposite foot, and he smashed into the top corner. And when you have a little bit more control in the game, you have more touches in the ball, you more likely have more chances in the game, and they had probably one more than us, and they took it. And it's unfortunate for us because it's our first defeat away from home.
Yeah, you've been great away from home.
We have been great away from home, but it's a tight league, a very tight league, and a very competitive league. It's the first time I've ever played in that league, and I'm enjoying it and I'm relishing it, but it's a challenge. It is not easy at all. A lot of teams competing for that first team spot.
Well, yeah, Inverness now on 31 on the top. Then it's Raith Rovers and yourselves, Kilmarnock on 29, Partick Thistle and Arbroath on 27. Simon, that's 5 teams, just 4 points between them.
I'm just looking at the table just now, Paul, and it's incredibly tight. It's almost like 2 leagues. You go from Arbroath sitting in 5th on 27 points, and you jump to Dunfermline on 13. It's almost as if there's 5 teams competing at the top, and the others are fighting for not going down and staying in the division. But I've played, like Burke says, I've played in that division, I've managed in that division. It is a difficult one to get out of, and obviously Kilmarnock have slipped up last night, but they're sitting in a good position there, only 2 points off the top.
Certainly are. The games in the Premiership this afternoon: Aberdeen against St Mirren. Give you the teams in a moment. Hibs against Motherwell, Rangers Dundee we mentioned, and St Johnstone Ross County. Doubt about it, there'll be another inspection about now. We'll let you know very shortly. One of the big talking points this week is VAR. Some of the Hibs fans weren't happy with the decision. Some of the Hearts, certainly the manager Robbie Nielsen, very unhappy with the Celtic goal. Giovanni Van Bronckhorst was asked, what about VAR?
I'm for VAR. You can have situations in games where it's very difficult for the ref to see, to make decisions of. So VAR is there to help, which is very important. Yeah, I'm from Holland. I think the VAR came from Holland. So it's fair to have the VAR for both sides really, and so I'm really for VAR next season.
What do you feel on that, Chris Burke, about VAR? Is there not an inevitability? We have to get VAR surely at the top table.
I think if we're class ourselves as hopefully one of the top leagues in Europe, we have to have VAR. We have to look more professional as well, and to help the referees. They have to make a decision in a split second, whether it's onside or offside, like the Kyogo incident. Yes, he was offside, but you go back to probably the first game when they played Hearts at Tynecastle. I remember very well that it was at 1-1 and McGregor slips in Taylor puts the ball across the face and Abada puts it in, and it could have been 2-1 Celtic, and they gave Taylor offside, if you remember that. Yep. So again, it does even itself out, but to help the referees and the officials, I think it's very important, and to make our game more professional, I think VAR will be very, very welcomed.
Yeah, I think with VAR, I think if you'd asked me when it first came out, with all the pauses and you're looking at things, I think it's more polished now. We're 2 years down the line, I believe, with VAR. So I think it's a good time to bring it into the Scottish game. I think they're more experienced with how they use it, and it's a wee bit more free flowing down south when we watch it. So all the hesitation and the pauses at the start are not there as much anymore. And as Burkie says there, I mean, it's a difficult job, a referee. Things can happen so quickly in games. So if you've got that help, and we want to be respected, as a decent league in Europe, I think it has to come in.
Paul. I think technology these days has to come into play. You see a lot of probably NFL kind of stats and statistics and technology coming into play. It's just because the game is that quick now. Yeah. It's just getting quicker and quicker, and it's harder. You're more liable for then human error to happen.
Have you played under VAR? Have you played?
No, I've not.
No games?
No, hopefully I'm still playing.
Of course, well, you're international career, both of you, Simon. It was just before your time, but the fact that we're asking someone who was playing in the Premiership just months ago, and we're saying, have you played under VAR? We're going to fall behind. Same for our referees and the officials. They're not going to be ranked in FIFA. They're not going to be given big games, and the refereeing here surely will get worse.
Yeah, I just think that the respect and the stature of the league, we have to bring it in eventually. I think some of the rules have been tweaked as well, because at times you blame VAR and then people pull you up. Well, that it's the letter of the law. I think sometimes some of the rules, particularly the offside rule, and I'm not talking about the other night's game at all, it was before that, just when you're looking at things and they're offside by a toenail, I think that's ridiculous. So I think they have tweaked the offside rule, and hopefully I think they change it a wee bit more so it's in favour of the attacking team. I think football's all about goals, so it would be nice to see it tweaked even more. But I definitely think it needs to come in just to help the referees.
Do you know what it also helps, Paul? It helps the managers have clarity and know that that's the decision. So you won't get the emotional side of it during the match, when you might see like Robbie Nielsen really upset and frustrated, and it might then
you look at that when I was at the game. You look at the one with GMS going through, and he trips over his own feet, and I think that's what started. I think that resulted in Robbie Nielsen getting the yellow card, because and even Andy Walker commentating on the TV thought somebody's pulled him down there. It looks as if he's busting through and he's been pulled down, but on the replay he trips over his own back leg, his back foot.
It takes away the focus from him concentrating on the actual match, when maybe as a coach and manager you're so frustrated in that moment where you've probably worked so hard to create a good shape, create a good line, and it's offside and it's a goal, and you just can't let that go, But if you have clarity in the football, whether it is offside or not, then for a player as well on the pitch, when the decision is made and they say that is final, because let's face it, football players and coaches and managers, any athletes in the game, they just love structure and they love to know, black or white really, as much as they can. And I think that will also help that in the emotional aspect.
I'll tell you one thing, Edinburgh wasn't happy about Glasgow, was it? There's a bit of a chip in the shoulder. The Hearts fans are not happy in the manager. And look, I get it, but also Hibs as well, saying, it's never a penalty or whatever. You go to Glasgow and it's no finer place to be than play football in Glasgow. But we want to get it right. We need to I'm hoping they get a sponsor. I'm sure the people at the league must be working just now. And can you imagine the publicity for whoever the sponsor is? Because there's so much focus on those moments in games that they'll get all the publicity afterwards. So let's hope they get it sorted out. If you're on the way to the match this afternoon, Rangers against Dundee. Rangers are lining up McGregor, Tavernier, Goldson, Bassey and Barisic. What's happening to Goldson? We might hear from Giovanni in a moment or two. Kamara, Arfield and Aribo. Hadji, Fashion Sakala is in from the start today, and Morella's on the bench. Substitutes John McLaughlin, Nathan Patterson on the bench again, Lundstrom, who was about to come on and then didn't at that moment the other night. Good game management. Jack is back on the bench, and that's good news. Bakuna, Wright and Roof. Up against a Dundee team who are in and out, up and down, but they had a good result last week there. Legzdens, Kerr, Marshall, Fontaine and Sweeney, Mullen, McGowan, Elliott, McCowan, McMullen and Adam on the bench. They've got Lawler, Panther, Griffiths, Cummings, Lamb. What about Dundee, Chris?
Yeah.
Do you offer them any hope coming to play the champions?
Well, I take this, hopefully. I know McPake won't be listening, but they have the worst away record in the league. They have 4 points only our away record. So, but they're 4 points clear and they're sitting ninth. So I think they're probably relatively in a position where they're still happy. A lot of people say it's a free hit against Rangers, but I think they'll just look to frustrate Rangers as much as possible. I'd imagine it'll be a 4-5-1 formation. But the likes of Paul McMillan, who's got 6 assists so far in the league, which is terrific. He's a great attacking prowess in forward line for Dundee. And you've got obviously Danny Millen, who scored 3 and 3. So they do have very good attacking players. McPake spoke about that at the last game. As much as Danny Millen was getting the plaudits, the likes of McGowan and McMillan worked tirelessly going backwards as well. And I think they'll definitely need that at Ibrox today.
Latest from the London Stadium: West Ham 3, Chelsea 2. Simon Donnelly, a bit of a turnaround.
Yes, sounds like a bit of a game. I missed it as I was driving in here. I think Chelsea took the lead, but West Ham have pegged them back and just got their noses in front in that one. So it looks of
that's killing my fantasy dream team. I don't know about you, Simon.
Chelsea defenders in there.
I have Jorginho, so I don't think he'll be getting many points.
No. But what about David Moyes? It's not full time yet though, so they're still playing. Few minutes remaining, plus in England with VAR and all the rest of it. Unless you've watched it, you've no idea how much is added on. But David Moyes, phenomenal.
Unbelievable, especially having setbacks in his career as well. If you think about it, doing terrifically at Everton, going to Manchester United, then going abroad and not doing so well, and then coming back, obviously the second stint at West Ham and doing terrifically. A little bit of a sticky spell, as you would imagine, with playing in Europe and the backlog of games, maybe not been really used to that as at West Ham in the past. But that's an unbelievable result if that finishes 3-2, because a Chelsea side that keep a lot of clean sheets. I think Tuchel has over 50% ratio of clean sheets, the amount of games he's played, amount of games he's managed at the club. So to score 3 against him is an unbelievable achievement.
He knows his facts and figures, doesn't he? And that's what I was saying right at the start. I should say to the listeners that's what I meant. We were having a chat about all your stats there, and to be fair, you did say last night, how long's the bus journey back down the road?
But I did have a lot of time to do my homework. Hey, listen, I used to have Simon and yourself next to me just to talk sense, Hey, listen, I'm just making that up. I just have to make people believe what I'm saying.
Exactly, we do it. It's Chris Burke, international players. Simon Donnelly, international player as well. And Simon, I knew you were going to the Happy Mondays. You told us last week you were there Tuesday night along with James. How were they?
They were fantastic, Paul. I'm 47 now, so I'm still recovering. A couple of heavy nights at the start of the week, but you've got to do it for your birthday. It's your birthday week. And of course, you've come here not quite straight from the OVO Hydro. Nearly 10,000 people there, and it was only Sutton, Larson, Hartson, yourself and Martin Neal and many, the Seville team basically, wasn't it? Yeah, it was a fantastic evening to get 9 or 10 of the boys under the one roof and so many fans to turn out on a Monday night.
10,000 virtually.
Unbelievable. Yeah, just shows the fondness that they had for it. And somebody actually pointed out to me that team, that Seville year, didn't win anything. They didn't win anything.
Did they not?
No, they didn't win anything.
Last day of the season at Kilmarnock, wasn't
But
it?
they're held in
Yep.
for what they achieved at the club over the period of time they were there. And obviously the Seville run getting to the final was unbelievable. So it just reflected in how loved they are, that there was 10,000 out there on a Monday night. So
Do you know,
it was a great occasion.
Sometimes people say, I remember early last season coming back onto it, and Rangers started well. Celtic started well last season, people forget, apart from in Europe. And I said, can you have two successful Glasgow teams? No, it's not possible. But in 2003 it was, because Martin O'Neill had revolutionised Celtic. They'd won a treble and then they won the league. And then that year, Rangers, Alec McLeish in charge, I think, and they won the title. It was the last day of the season. One of them was at Kilmarnock, one was at Dunfermline.
Yeah, that's right.
But
as I say, it just what the players achieved at that time for the club, it just reflected on the turnout.
It just shows you you can have amazing moments as a fan and a player playing for a club and not win anything.
That's right.
That it shows you just want moments in football, and that's definitely
that's what the fans remember. I think the style of play. I get a lot of people coming up to me talking about the 95-96 Celtic team, because we played some really good stuff
under Tommy Burns.
Ultimately didn't win the title. I think we were defeated once, too many draws, but it sticks in people's mind. The good football that they came to watch.
You just missed out on that. You'd moved from Rangers by then, Chris, at that time, 2003. Because I saw with your birthday, I saw Birmingham putting up one of your goals. There were a few of them online in the last few days.
I was just starting my career, was I not?
You must have been, I know.
Yeah, I think 2004 I made my debut.
Yeah.
So it was just, I was probably still just training as a young kid.
Just a pup.
Yeah.
I got it wrong with Simon last week. I was saying to him and Barry Ferguson, two greats of the game. I said, but of course, you've not been to a World Cup. And it's like, Simon's like, well, yeah, I was. I tell you what, he had. I should have done my homework.
I was too polite. I didn't want to correct you. It was Barry that I was going to let it
Barry
slide.
jumped in.
I was
No,
happy
you
to let it slide.
I was there. That's But you were saying, if only you'd got
Couple
on.
of pasties, too many pasties.
Was there a moment and you thought you were playing, or you thought you had a chance, or you thought you should have?
Good question.
Oh, you always think you should, shouldn't you?
Sure.
You should always think you should. But we had an experienced Scotland team. It was a settled team, more or less. You had some good strikers. Jury, Gallagher, Dan Jackson played. And I think the closest, the Morocco game, the last game, we were told to go out and warm up. And I think we'd already used, I think there was only one sub left to use. And I'm thinking, we were getting beat 3-0 at the time. But I'm thinking, just put me on.
Yeah, of course.
So that I can say I was on the pitch at the World Cup. And Craig Brown pulled us back, and Scott Booth went on.
Right.
He took the final substitution. So that was me. I
Was
was resigned to. You're part of it, but you know yourself. You want to play. You want to see you've played, but it wasn't to be.
Davy Province said that as well from the 82 World Cup.
he the same?
Yeah, Jock had said to him, I'm going to play you.
Aye.
He didn't play him. So
That's worse.
Aye, yeah.
That'd have been a bit of a squad as well, though.
Yeah, it was
82,
squad.
some players in that.
Dalglish, Souness, McQueen then as well. Yeah, it was a strong. Leighton was a terrific goalkeeper, obviously.
How did Davy feel part of it, or just same disappointed he never?
We'll get the two of you on one day together, but it must be tough. I don't know.
Tough.
You guys are the pros. It must be. Yeah, you're there.
Anyway, it was
but
a great
you don't-
experience.
Of course.
It was a fantastic experience. Getting the first game against Brazil was amazing.
And let's hope we're there next year.
Of course.
In Qatar. Is it anything like Qatar today as we look out to the great
Horrible
city
out
of Glasgow, isn't it?
It's horrible.
Don't go anywhere. We're back with more team news next.
The Go Radio Football Show with thetaxicentre.com. Don't miss out on huge savings on your new taxi. Available exclusively to the taxi trade.
Let's go!
New sound of Saturday afternoon. It's the Go Radio Football Show with the Taxi Centre. Rangers at home this afternoon. There's going to be nearly 50,000 at Ibrox for Rangers up against Dundee. Rangers starting the day on 36 points after 15 games. Celtic in second spot, 32 points after 15. Hearts on 27, Dundee United on 25, Motherwell on 24, Hibs now on 28, Aberdeen on 18, Hibs on 18 along with Aberdeen, St Mirren on 17, Dundee on 16, St Johnstone 14, Livy on 13 and Ross County on 11. We're keeping an eye out for news from Ross County, where there's been a second inspection that's going on. We'll give you that very, very shortly. Some of the other games today. Where will we go next? Shall we go to Easter Road? Hibs up against Motherwell. Hibs are Macy, McGinn, Hanlon, Porteous, Cadden and Doig, Doyle, Hayes, Newell, Campbell, Boyle and Nisbet. Up against a Motherwell side, Kelly, O'Donnell, McGinley, Mugabe, Lamy, Goss, Slattery, Cornelius, Woolery, Van Veen, and the goal hero from Monday night, Watt, in horrendous conditions, weren't they, Chris, at Motherwell the other night, the match I saw the game on Sky. What do you think this afternoon? Who do you fancy here?
I do. I fancy Hibs, if I'm honest. You know, I know they don't have a great home record, you know, of form. That kind of happened to them last season as well. But I just think, you know, there's going to come a time where Hibs actually perform well and get a result. As much as Motherwell are flying high at the moment and doing ever so well, we've been, you know, fifth in the league, you know, a point behind Dundee United, and Hibs looked to have tailed off a little bit because they did, you know, start the season very, very well, but they had a tricky period where they lost 4 in the bounce in the league. But again, it was against Celtic and Rangers was the 2 of the 4. So, and then the COVID, you know, hit. Well, they're actually 2 games behind, and it looks a little bit worse than what it is. But I do fancy Hibs, you know, the firepower that they have. I know Motherwell are good as firepower as well, but I fancy Hibs today.
There is a call off in Perth. Give you more in a moment or two, but that game is off. Simon, what do you reckon here at Easter Road today?
It's a tricky one to call. I think just what Burkie was saying there, Hibs obviously had a fantastic result in the semi-final, and then they surprised everybody by, you know, slipping up at Ross County. Bounced back with a decent result against St Johnstone. Motherwell, likewise. I mean, I thought they would beat Dundee up there last week, get beat, and then they got a great result during the week there. It's a tricky one, but I think Hibs, being at home, I think Hibs maybe just shade it.
I think it's going to be Hibs. Motherwell, they're in and out, aren't they? They're hard to predict. But Tony Watt is on fire.
He is. Well, he's joint top goal scorer in the league with Kyogo. And he's always had that in his locker. You know, he's a great goal scorer and different sort of finishes, and he can have a finish out of nothing as well, which we've seen the other night there. So he's an important part of that team in the attack. And I see Van Veen is being included as well.
Do you like him?
Yeah, I do. I think obviously still adjusting to the Scottish League. I think a little bit of consistency in his performance is something that the manager's probably questioning. So they do have good players. I like the boy Goss as well. I think he's very good. And I see the inclusion of O'Donnell, and he's a captain. He obviously struggled to get a starting claim in for Motherwell during the season. It's amazing to think that when you play for Scotland and you can't get a game for Motherwell. But you know, it's actually a really interesting game, if I'm honest with you, Paul. 2 teams that like to attack. I'd imagine goals.
Could be game of the day. I think. Right. I think it's quite even.
I'm going 3-2 Hibs.
Yeah, I think there'll be goals in it as well.
We'll just see on Sky there. There's Eddie Howe, big match for him. Newcastle, Burnley, still looking for that first win. They could be going down, couldn't they?
I know everybody says, you know, if you've not won this far, you know, mathematically, well, not mathematically, the stats show that you actually go down, but they're only 6 points off it if you really think about it and look at the table. And if there's one thing about Eddie Howe, you know, he's a team that likes to score goals and play in the front foot. And I think today will be the day that they get their first victory against Burnley.
I'm just hearing, the game is off, as we mentioned a few moments ago. St Johnstone against Ross County, and it's the right decision. People at the ground, that's what they're saying. It was checked twice today, and the game is off. No surprise there with the way it is around the country.
Yeah, just frustrating. I think, you know, players turn up wanting to play, and the game's called off, and the games are going to be thick and fast over December as well. So it's another kind of game that they're going to have to squeeze in somewhere. In
St Johnstone, another of your old teams, they really need to start winning, don't they? I know they're traditionally the last few years slow to start. What a season they had last year. You were never going to replicate that, but you beginning to worry about them?
I would think they've got a bit of, I think with St Johnstone they've got a good blend of experience and some youth in there. I know they lost a couple of players at the start of the season and started last season relatively slow as well. I thought they would have got the points against Hibs last week, and Hibs, I think, got a couple of late goals in that game. So yeah, they've found themselves in an unusual position for St Johnstone over the last few years. They've always been in the top 6. They're now sitting in 10th, a point above Livingston. So yeah, they just need to start picking points up, and it's frustrating that they're obviously not going to be playing today.
Scottish Cup today. You've both had great success in the Scottish Cup, but it's not good news for most of the teams that because of the weather. I see Darvel has gone off just a moment or two ago against Brecon City, one of your old teams as well, just for a short period. We'll give you more of that, but I think it's decimated the card. There's very few. Only one Scottish Cup tie is surviving. That's a Waterlog pitch, as we say, at Darvo. Let me see where else Arbroath await the winners. We'll give you more on that later, but it's coming in just now. Some great games right around the country today. Let's continue. Rangers, we'll go back to that if you're just tuning in. So no Stephen Davis today as well. And you were mentioning Ryan Kent not around. Rangers are McGregor, Tavernier, Goldson and Bassey, Barisic, Kamara, Arfield and Aribo, Hadji, Fashion Sakala and Morelos on the bench. McLaughlin, Patterson, Lundstrom, Jack, Bakuna, Wright and Roof. Here's the manager speaking about the contract situation with Connor Goldson.
No. I spoke to Ross about it today. He's still talking with his agents, so nothing new. I think we have to say still on speaking terms with the agent, so we have to wait. Of course, I saw reports he rejected the offer, but that is untrue. They're still talking, so hopefully we can have some more news in the coming weeks or months.
Do you think this has affected his performance? As we can tell you, West Ham have taken the points against Chelsea in the London Derby. Does it affect you?
I think any player, it can affect you. I don't go to all the games, so I can't, say that it has done so. I think Rangers fans will only be able to judge him on that, but it's a new era now with Giovanni Van Bronckhorst. I think he'll only be judging on how he is in training and how he's played at the games so far. They've got 3 wins, and I think they've kept 2 clean sheets in the 3 games that Van Bronckhorst has been there. So Goldson's obviously doing his job as well as the back 4. His words, obviously, I don't know as him as a person, but I think on reflection he might have regretted what he said. But sometimes you just say things in the heat of the moment. Everybody makes mistakes in what they say, but was he doing it for a reaction? I don't think he was doing it to get out of the club, is what some people were saying. He's either just spoken to honestly, or he's looking for a reaction in the changing room.
Because normally the manager would come out, or the
Are these the words after the
or the captain then. And Richard Gough said that the late great Walter used to shove Richard Gough out sometimes. I think that's what he said. If there wasn't such a good result, maybe it should have been Tavernier. But with Goldson, it seemed to be he was saying about his colleagues. It wasn't really saying us. It was almost like the team, as if he was slightly detached from it. But from a media point of view, we're not going to knock somebody for coming out and speaking.
No, I think you've got to respect him for that side of it. But I think, as Chris says there, the emotions are running high right after a game. Disappointment, getting out the semi-final. I caught a wee bit of it on the radio. I can't remember where I was, but I thought he was looking at himself a wee bit as well as his teammates. But again, when you put that out there, you're always going to get a reaction. And in fairness to them, they had a difficult game in Europe, and they've bounced back and they've won the 3 games on the back of it. So as long as you can walk the walk. The transfer situation, I don't know. There's speculation about that all the time. I think it depends on the character. Personally, I signed for Sheffield Wednesday in the January, knowing that I was going, but I treated it still. You're representing Celtic. That's your job. It's one of the ones. I don't think the speculation will be affecting him too much. I think his performances have been decent enough.
Yeah, well, the one thing is if Goldson does want to go, he'll have to have performances for Rangers, so he can't let it affect him, even though if he is out of contract and he's still dealing with Rangers.
It's like Edward with Celtic when he's formed up to a wee bit. I always think if you are looking for a move and people are watching how you everything affects you. Are you taking the huff? Are you down in tools? That goes against you if people see that as the case. So, as you say there, if you just go out and do your best every game.
Let's go to Pittodrie, Aberdeen up against St Mirren. Aberdeen are Lewis, McCrory, Watkins, Brown, the captain, and Ramirez. This is obviously not the formation then. Hedges, who scored midweek. Jet is back in again from the start as he was midweek. Ojo, back after suspension. A crazy one, of course. Hayes, Ferguson, and Bates, who also scored his first goal the other night. For St Mirren, Jack Anakin goals, of course. Fraser, Shaughnessy, the skipper, is back. Dunn, Miller, Flynn, Power, Tanzer, McGrath, Ronan and Brophy. Simon, who do you fancy here? Aberdeen against St Mirren. It's quite a hard one to call.
Yeah, but I still think Aberdeen at home, I think they get a good result during the week. I watched them against Celtic last week, very physical, made it a difficult game for Celtic. I see Brown's back in because he limped off last week, so obviously it wasn't too serious. As I say, they bounce back during the week and get the 3 points. I think they'll pick the 3 points up again today. I think Stephen Glass, after a difficult start to his Aberdeen career, is moving the right way up the table. You know, they're sitting on 7th there, so 3 points today will be very welcome.
1 point between them just now. The Dons ahead of the Saints. What do you reckon? Any hope for Paisley?
Well, there's one thing about St Mirren, and it's probably been a detriment to them the last season as well, is, you know, turning their draws into wins, Paul, if I'm honest. You know, they've got the most draws in the league so far. They've got 8 draws, you know, and over the 2 years that Jim Goodwin's been in charge, you know, they've kind of struggled to get that final goal to give them the 3 points rather than the 1. But they're a very difficult team to break down and to beat. You know, if they don't lose, you know, they usually get a point. They're very good on the road as well. So I predict a draw in this game, you know, but they have a very difficult run coming up after this. They have the likes of Aberdeen, Hibs, Celtic and Rangers up until the new year. So if they're going to take some points, you know, that they'll probably look to maybe get 3 points in this game. But Aberdeen, you're right, Simon, I think they're a slow burner. A lot of departures and arrivals since Stephen Glass has come in. Ramirez is still a good goal scorer, scored 6 goals, you know, and as much as he's been in and out and stuff. So I do think it will be a draw this game.
Think it's going to be a draw.
Yeah, 1-1 I'm going.
The Go Radio Football Show with the Taxi Centre Saturday afternoon. There's now only 3 games in the Premiership because of St Johnstone Ross County succumbing to the atrocious weather around the country this afternoon. But no problems at Ibrox or at Easter Road or at Pittodrie. And in the Championship, Arbroath against Raith Rovers. Raith Rovers could actually go top of the table. Hamilton against Dunfermline. What can we say about those two teams who've been struggling? Although Dunfermline been quite a turnaround under. It's always sad to see, Simon, isn't it, when one of your old colleagues, Peter Grant, first class, got a great track record in coaching, just didn't work for him. But John Hughes as well, that you know really well. What a bounce back for him.
Yeah, great opportunity. I think I said it on the show the other night. Great opportunity, fantastic club. Had 2 years at Dunfermline, really good club. And yeah, just Granty never really started off. He didn't get off to a good start and couldn't turn it, and unfortunately lost his job on the back of it. But yeah, I wish Husey all the best as well there. Dunfermline, you could argue, are a kind of Premiership size club.
And Morton against Ayr and Queen of the South against Partick Thistle. Your division is so tight. We touched on it earlier, Chris, isn't it?
Just looking at it there, the table, it is so tight. It is
ridiculous,
like,
the table,
you just said it at the beginning of the show, you know, it is kind of like 2 leagues. But you just never know with Dunfermline, with, you know, Yogi Hughes taking over. He's picked up performances. You know, they were bottom and he's took over now. You know, they sit in 6th place. Albeit there's a lot of points between them and Arbroath, but game of the day for me is Arbroath versus Raith Rovers. It'll be really interesting to see that one. If I'm honest, Arbroath have a good home record, and Raith Rovers, you know, their style of playing, what John McGunn's doing there is terrific. And Arbroath, obviously a part-time team playing in a full-time league, is an incredible achievement by Dick Campbell and what he's done so far. You know, sitting in 5th place. I would love to just see a draw, if I'm honest.
Of course, as a
I think all draws would be great for us.
That's what do you think will happen?
I do think it'll be a draw, if I'm honest. Arbroath, Raith Rovers. I fancy Dunfermline over Hamilton. I think Greenock Morton versus Ayr United. I think Greenock Morton will get their first win at home that they've not done so this season. And if you're asking me about Queen of the South, Partick Thistle, as much as I would love that to be a draw, I think Partick Thistle might nick that one.
Quick break and then we're going live to Ibrox.
The Go Radio Football Show with the Taxi Centre. Visit their showroom in Darnley, Glasgow to test drive your new taxi.
Let's go!
Hope you're doing well this afternoon. If you've been at the boys and the girls football this morning, some of the games were off, I think. Simon Donnelly, Chris Burke, your matches were off for your boys and girls this morning.
Both off for me. I got a slightly longer lie than anticipated this morning, but I like getting up on a Saturday and watching the kids playing, but unfortunately the pitch was waterlogged.
I heard you saying there's a good girl in that team as well. Isn't it brilliant?
Well, me and Chris's sons play in the same school team, and there's a young girl in the team, very good as well. They've actually got a good little football team, the school team.
We were down at Glen Buck which some football fans will remember as, that's the birthplace of Bill Shankly, the legendary manager of Liverpool, who transformed that club. And we were there with Blantyre Soccer Academy, 2-2 this morning with Noah in the team. So it was great. We were down there at 5 to 9 this morning. And after Cash for Kids yesterday, which raised £450,000, thanks to everyone.
Amazing.
Eddie Hawthorne, Arnold Clark, Sir Tom Hunter, Willie Hockey,
450,000.
yeah, David Molesdale.
Superb.
It was phenomenal.
I
Yeah.
heard Lewis Capaldi and stuff.
Lewis
was playing.
Capaldi was brilliant.
Showed me a video. It
Yeah.
looked
Did you see it? Yeah, it was
sensational. It looked
brilliant.
incredible.
Yeah,
Amy McDonald did as well.
She was terrific.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was brilliant. Yeah.
I like her stuff. It's really good as well.
Really good. So people come together, don't they, here in the West? So Go was well represented there as well. But it's a fantastic thing, and so well done. And well done to Debbie from Cash for Kids, who they do an amazing job. People in Glasgow, people in Scotland are so generous. Well, this afternoon we're going to keep you right up to date with what's happening right around the country. You can hear it there in the background. Let's go live then to Ibrox. Good afternoon, Joe Henry. Oh, we can hear the ground, but we maybe can't hear some of the music.
Good afternoon, guys. I'm on first name terms with the IT department at Ibrox.
Joe, how's it looking then, the conditions this afternoon? And we've heard the teams, obviously no Stephen Davis and no Ryan Kent this afternoon, but you can give us the lineups again. And if not, I'll give them.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's
Yeah,
obviously
there's 2 changes for Rangers, as you mentioned, from the team that.
there certainly are two. There's obviously, there's a bit of a delay there. Just give us the sound, that will be fine then, Stuart, okay? Because the teams are McGregor, Tavernier, Goldson, Bassey and Barisic, Kamara, Arfield and Aribo, Hadji, Fashion Sakala and Morelos on the bench, McLaughlin, Patterson, Lundstrom, Jack, Bakuna, Wright and Ruth. So
I like, if you don't mind me saying, I like the look of Bassey now, if I'm honest. I think he's come into his own and into that team, and it's helped him obviously with a few injuries that getting into the team, but he's held his own. So he has, he spoke very well in his press conference just before the game, saying he's learning this new position, his different passing lanes, etc., for him to play at the centre back. But he's only 21 years of age, and I think he can be a real Rangers star.
Do you like the way Rangers are playing? He's changed it a bit, hasn't he? Under the new manager, the way the fullbacks, he's deploying them differently. And he's had Kent and Hadji wider up front, Simon.
Yeah, I thought after the semi-final, I think I said on this show, I thought the likes of Hadji would come back in. He's come in, creative player, dangerous player going forward. I'm a wee bit surprised Ruth maybe never got a start today on the back of it. I know it was a penalty, it still, comes on and has
goals,
to, yeah,
he does.
So I'm a wee bit surprised that he starts on the bench again today. But yeah, it looks again a familiar. Not many changes in the Rangers side, and I fully expect them to go out there this afternoon and get the 3 points and make it 4 in a row for Van Bronckhorst.
As we see Calvin Bassey being interviewed there.
Yeah, he was great. He was very humble in his words. He was saying, I'm just willing to learn from the top professionals, the likes of Goldson, McGregor behind him, Tavernier, Barisic, and it was just, if you ever get a chance to listen to his interview before this game, the press conference, it was a breath of fresh air. And at the age of only 21, when he first came in, I thought he found it a little bit difficult. If you remember that St Mirren game when in the cup, when Steven Gerrard made a lot of changes, he gave away the penalty, and I think Connolly gave him a torrid time. But the second season he's really kicked on, and I think it's probably a position at centre back where Rangers are looking to strengthen, but he's given Giovanni Van Bronckhorst a headache, because he's probably surprised him a little bit that he can actually play centre back as well as left back.
Yeah, that's credit to the boy though as well, isn't it? I mean, especially when you as a manager, that must be a joy to hear that he's willing to learn. And he's gave him the platform. It might be a wee bit of an unaccustomed role for him, and what he's used to, but he's took the opportunity, and that's all you can do, and try and keep the jersey. At clubs like Celtic and Rangers especially, you've got guys that want to take that jersey off you, so you come in and you have to take your chance, and he has just now.
How long did it take you to settle down at both clubs? Simon, you at Celtic?
It's funny for me because I came in at the end of a season. I get my debut at the end of the season. I forget the dates, that long ago, but I played the last 10 games of the season, Paul, and I scored 5 goals. I'm 19 years of age, and I actually thought, this is easy, this is what's going to be like all the time. And,
you always think that,
carried myself on, and we went to Hampden the following year. Celtic Park was under reconstruction, and I had an absolute torrid time. I had injuries, I didn't score a goal for the full season, and it just brought me back down to earth that, you know, this isn't just going to fall your way all the time. You're going to have to work for it. But that was my first season and a half, and then Tommy Burns came in and things changed for me. But at the beginning, you know, youthful exuberance, I don't know, but you just thought this is going to be the case.
What was your biggest goal in that first spell then?
My first.
You remember your first one? Who was it against?
My first start, we played Wraith Rovers at Celtic Park, and I was playing up front with Charlie Nicholas, which was a fantastic experience.
How good was he?
Oh, amazing. And he was coming to the end of his career as well, but just learned so much off Charlie. And I managed to score 2 that night on my kind of first full debut, so that's what sticks in my mind, although it's many moons ago.
And did you score against Rangers that season, your first one?
That is a touchy subject. I never scored against Rangers at all.
Right. Okay. Yep.
That's regularly brought up because my father scored against Rangers for Motherwell, so he likes to remind me of that.
Yeah.
Don't worry, I didn't score against Celtic.
Well, we'll get something in common.
Your first goal for Rangers then?
So my first goal was actually against Kilmarnock.
Yeah.
I was a substitute, and I only got into the squad because I think Tory Andrew Flo got injured, and I get the call to be on the bench. And the thing is, see, when you're at Ibrox and the team's winning comfortably, you actually think you've got an opportunity to come on. So the manager went and told me to warm up, and I got on for the last 12 or 13 minutes, and I think within 90 seconds I scored. So as you're right in saying, Simon, I thought this is easy. And you know what? See, after that, I never touched the ball until the last game of the season. And I just got put straight back into the youth team, which I thought at the time that's not right. But looking back at it, it was a great test for me. You're right. I had to show still character that I was going back to train with the 18s and play, you know, the next league game for the 18s and make sure I'm still doing well there while they're still monitoring me. You know, just put me back down to earth, which is you don't get enough credit from, you know, the coaching staff at academy level or, you know, from a manager. Sometimes fans don't see that that planning that they have for a player. Like, you know, we could talk about Patterson, the planning they have for him, where everybody's complaining and saying, well, you know, why is he not starting? Why is he not playing? But there's definitely a plan in place for Patterson. I know a lot of people will say, you know, he should be playing ahead of Tavernier, but not for me. I think, you know, he's still got a lot of learning to do, as much as he's a fantastic player. You know, because Tavernier's got 10 assists already this season. You know, he's doing terrific.
Do you think he gets an unfair?
Always will, because he's the captain as well.
Yeah.
That's what happens. There's more pressure on the captain.
Interesting. I think we spoke about it before. It was interesting to see Gio brought Patterson on ahead of Tavernier the other night, just slightly more advanced. And I think we spoke about it before. I know he's, again, you're talking about Bassey regarding himself as possibly a left back, but I think the lad Patterson, possibly there at different times, could, you know, if you're trying to find a position for him in the team to give him game time.
I think nowadays you have to learn 2 positions. Yeah. And Bassey actually said that, you know, I'm learning 2 different positions now, left back and centre back. And I think Patterson will be the same. And when you've got, I know, amazing experience like Giovanni Van Bronckhorst has played at the highest level. You know, you've got, you know, great coaches like Roy Mackay as well, and he'll help him in the attacking sense. And then you had Steven Gerrard before, you know, how to play in midfield. You've got Michael Beale as well back then, who could help them in the attacking sense, you know, Patterson. So it's not just one position now as a football player you have to play. You have to learn 2 at least if you want to be playing. You can't just nail down one. You have to give yourself the best opportunity to say, if somebody steps out, I'm available to play there. But Giovanni Van Bronckhorst seems as if he's in games when they're winning, you know, he does go a little bit more defensively minded, you know, not swap like for like. And that's when maybe Patterson then comes into the fold, where, you know, he replaces maybe a Hadji or, you know, a Kent or someone like that.
That's Chris Burke you're listening to, along with Simon Donnelly and Paul Cooney here on the Go Radio Football Show, in what could be a £40 million day. You know, if it's going to be a really tight title race, 7 points in it just now between the two, and any slip up, I mean, you'll never know until later in the season, and you'll go back. It's like Celtic, you know, not playing Kyogo against Livingston, and then the penalty, Giacomakis taking it. And I know it's only one penalty. Why didn't Juranovic take it or whatever? And you know, they drew. And for Rangers, you know, the other night they get that 1-goal victory. It's going to be these slim, thin margins, isn't it? It's the difference. I would
like to ask Simon though, like, would you be happy to be 4 points going into the next Old Firm game? Would you be happy with that, or would you like to close the gap?
I think Celtic would, you know, there's a few games before then. I think from a Celtic perspective they would like to close it, but again, I keep going back to the start of the season, and it was early days watching the game at Tynecastle, and you were concerned. I know Kyogo was just in the door. I think
Yeah,
he was
he
just
was.
off a flight,
It was.
and Ange was still putting his team together. He still is to an extent, but I think there'll be a lot more twists and turns in this title race this year. I think both teams will drop more points, and it will go to the wire. I don't think any of them will run away with it this year.
4 points in it at the moment, but
Yeah.
it could well be 7 by the end of the day.
Yeah,
What do
it
you
could.
think, Chris?
I think if Celtic keep it to 4, I think it's progression, because then you go into the January market, and I think Ange Postecoglou showed already how good he is in the market. I
think just now, I think the way it's set up, I mean, the likes of Rangers played ahead of Celtic during the week there. I think they'll just win the next game, and keep moving forward and see what develops. I think that's got to be the mentality, particularly over December, where the games come thick and fast. Celtic have got a cup final now, so you'd expect Rangers maybe to keep a wee bit further forward if they keep winning, with their game in hand. So Celtic just need to keep sitting on their coattails just now.
Could go either way, couldn't it? And that's what we want, for the
Yeah, it
neutrals.
could. Yep.
That's what you want, Chris, the former Rangers star. It wants it one way, and Simon the other way, and that's the great thing about the game. Chris, you were going to say?
I always remember though, when I played for Rangers, that when I had a home game, we were really positive, we were really optimistic, and we believed that we would win. So usually, Celtic have the away match, and you think hopefully they slip up.
Yep.
So if you have the home game, make sure you win that home game,
Of course.
and then you're hoping the next day, if it's 12:30 away time, maybe to Dundee United or whatever it is.
It's an incredible pressure that as
It
well,
is.
though. I think, Rangers Celtic the year before had ran away with it. Rangers kind of opened up a gap last year where the pressure is still there, but it's a different pressure. See, when it's tight, and as Chris says, your result goes your way. The first one you're looking for is your rivals.
January is going to be absolutely huge, and of course we'll be here January the 2nd, Judgment Day. Will it be? Was there about 12 points in it last year? I remember talking about it beforehand. I remember Davy Provan said, no, if Rangers win it, absolutely, that's it. If Celtic win it, it's back to 9 or thereabouts, and anything could happen. But if there's that kind of gap by then it surely is game over very early, and that'd be a great start for GVB. For Postecoglou, well, they've got the cup final. Ange Postecoglou's got the cup final, as you mentioned, in 15 days from now. It's
Good math,
the cup. I just did it in
Well
no
done.
more, didn't I? Okay, there's Wolves Liverpool coming out. Oh my goodness, who can catch Liverpool? There's a former Old Firm star, Virgil van Dijk. Is he the best defender in the world? We'll maybe ask that after the break, but we'll go right round the grounds. We'll keep you right up to date throughout the afternoon. You'll hear it first and fastest here and Go.
Where do taxi drivers go when they need to buy a taxi? Well, the Taxi Centre have supplied cars to the trade for over 20 years, and they stock a huge range of motors from the world's leading manufacturers: Skoda, Kia, Toyota, Mercedes, Nissan, Ford, Hyundai, you name it. They've got saloons, MPVs, estates, minibuses, prestige cars, the lot, all under one roof, ready for immediate collection or free delivery anywhere on the mainland UK. With taxi trade exclusive discounts, flexible finance options and no hidden fees. They even throw in registration and 12 months road tax. So if you're a taxi driver who needs a new or used taxi, where would you go? TheTaxiCentre.com. Trade only.
The Go Radio Football Show with TheTaxiCentre.com. Your exclusive taxi trade savings are waiting on you.
Let's go!
As the players prepare to kick off around the country, they've just kicked off at Ibrox. Rangers up against Dundee, our match of the day here in Scotland, although there's some other great ties as well. We've got Aberdeen up against St Mirren at Pittodrie, and Simon Donnelly, his pick of the day, he reckons it's going to be Hibs against Motherwell, and you reckon goals in that one, don't you? Although you fancy a home win.
I just think Hibs might sneak it. I think Burkie went for 3-2. The only reason I went 3-1 is just to disagree with
To be different.
Just to be different. But I think there will be goals, and Hibs might win it by 1.
And you're both going for Rangers this afternoon against Dundee. What's your scoreline, Simon?
I think Rangers will win 3-0. I think it'll be a comfortable afternoon. I think they've got off to a good start under Gio. I think if they get an early goal in particular, it could be 2 or 3.
Chris Burke, you've played there so many times, you've scored so many goals for Rangers and created so many. What's your scoreline today?
I'm going to go one better than Simon. I think 4. I think they'll be ruthless today, and I think if they score first half, it could be 4 goals, 3 or 4. But I can't see past Rangers not winning this match today, Paul. As much as Dundee have probably picked up a little bit and had good. I think they've had the last two games. They've had two victories, haven't they? So, but at Ibrox, full packed, knowing that they can go 7 points clear, it always gives you a lift when you know the other side of the Old Firm. You know they're playing the next day, as they've got a corner here from Barisic. You know in the second minute, which probably Dundee players are not looking forward to, but it's cleared very, very well and got a free kick. So Dundee probably looked to slow the game down already at 1 minute.
So you reckon Rangers are going to be ruthless at the moment he's on the bench?
Yeah, ruthless. I think
nice one, Paul. I like that. Was good.
The important thing with these types of games for the opposition, like a Dundee going to Celtic Park or Ibrox, is the first 20 minutes, first 20-25 minutes. I've actually been on the other side of that with Dunfermline going to Celtic. And
how tough was that?
It's horrible. It's absolutely horrible. You actually see it from the other side because you're so used to being on the right side of those results over the years at Celtic. But then when I went, I think it was 6 that day. And yeah, just a horrible experience. So the important moments of this game are early on for Dundee if they can keep in the game and frustrate Rangers, and get them maybe doing things that they wouldn't normally do. But here they are on the break again, Rangers.
I agree with you. I've been on both sides as well, where I tend to think if you're playing Celtic and Rangers, you need to play in blocks, and I just think 3 blocks are 15 in the first half and again in the second half. You try and not concede every 15 minutes. And the worst thing you can do is concede early on, especially in the first 15 minutes, and also from a set play, because then you're giving them a goal up before them actually even having to work for it. So I think Dundee, you're right. Just look to frustrate. You're not there to entertain. And you have to be respectful. I know a lot of managers would say at Celtic and Rangers, they weren't very attacking minded. They weren't looking to win the match. But you have to respect the opposition and realise that you have to be a team, and collectively everybody has to play like a 7, 8 out of 10 in that Dundee team to try and get anything out of the game today. So
Rangers start and will finish the day at the top of the table with their 4-point lead over Celtic. Celtic of course play tomorrow against Dundee United, and the Jerry Kerr stand was damaged by that storm, so I believe 2,000 Celtic tickets had to be withdrawn. It's nobody's fault. The storm took its toll. Those poor people have been out of their homes for, they've had no electricity certainly for day after day. So I know everyone's working hard to get that back. And looking in England, with the Chelsea defeat at West Ham 3-2, then Liverpool could go top of the table this afternoon against Wolves. Would you expect Liverpool to win?
Yeah, I think so. I think the form that they're in, they're probably the form side. I was talking to Chris earlier off here. I still fancy Man City to win the league. I just think they've got so many good players. I think the Liverpool front three, if somebody's missing, it could maybe affect them. Whereas I think Man City can bring in another 3 and the performance doesn't dip. But having said that, Liverpool seem to be wiping the floor with everybody. A fantastic result against Everton at Goodison during the week. Salah is just on fire, so I would expect them to win this afternoon.
Scoreline?
3-1.
3-1. What do you reckon, Chris?
I agree with Sam. I think 2-0 Liverpool. I don't think it'll be that easy, but you're right. It's just amazing how to think. You've got 2 teams, probably 2 of the best teams. No disrespect to Chelsea, I just don't think they're at that same level as Liverpool and Man City. They play 2 different styles. Liverpool are high at you, resilient, intense, in your face straight away.
Great
play
to
long
watch.
balls, great to watch. You're right. So energetic, and the front three are exceptional, and even the midfield three are great as well. They go out and press in the wide areas, are not afraid to do that. And it's amazing how Klopp can get the players to play like that, game in, game out, and not really rotate that much, and they don't really get injured.
Match of the day in the League Division 1 in Scotland. There's an early goal. Queen's Park 1, Falkirk 0. Louis Longridge scoring in 4 minutes. I was just about to say the other games today. We talked about the Championship. In that first division, there's Clyde against Peterhead, Cove Rangers against Dumbarton, and East Fife against Barry Ferguson's Alloa. And Queen's Park 1 up, as we mentioned. And in Division 2, Albion Rovers against Forfar, Cowden beat Stirling Albion, and Stenhousemuir 1 up on Stranraer. Thomas Orr scoring after 5 minutes. What an appointment.
Start for Queen's Park, because I don't think they've had a good run of form. We played them last week in the Cup and we beat them 1-0, but I was impressed by their style. They look to play out from the back. I think it's Laurie Ellis is the manager, and I think they just employed Miss Dempsey just employed a new
Marin Burker.
Yes, a new academy director, a director of sport. All the way from AZ Alkmaar. Incredible. How to a great bit of business there for Miss Dempster, because I think in the future they probably have, I heard they're saying, a 15-year plan to get into the Premier League and to have over 50% of their players from the academy. And it's a great pool for any young kid that wants to start their career there, and 1-0 up against a team that probably look to get to promotion as well.
Something special is happening at Queen's Park, isn't it? They'll be back at New Hampden next year, whatever. I know they're playing at Firhill.
Excuse me, where are they playing their games just now?
Firhill.
Firhill. Over at Firhill. So it's a great. I mean,
as Aberdeen go 1 up.
Yeah,
who's the scorer, Simon?
Mally Watkins, after 7 minutes, gets Aberdeen off to a great start, and Kelty Hearts have also taken the lead against Montrose in the Scottish Cup.
You're on fire,
Joe Cardle.
Simon Donnelly.
I just can't see that for there.
You keep your the mince pies on that huge. So we're watching it there on Rangers TV.
Actually, Dundee had a little chance here from a long throw. Paul Fontaine flicked it on, and unfortunately, I think Danny Mullen just didn't get the right connection. But McGregor covered it well. But Rangers have still control of the game. You can just see Dundee just sitting behind the ball, letting the back four of Rangers control the game, and hopefully, they're closing spaces. But I'm happy that Arfield's in the squad. I think Arfield, is a player that's an unsung hero for me. As you see him, he always makes that run off the ball. He's such an unselfish player.
A great goal at Livingston last week, making that kind of run.
He's great.
Killed it with his first touch and then lobbed the keeper.
And see, if I'm honest, I think he made a huge difference in the Hibs game.
Yeah,
I really do. He was only on for not long, 15-minute spell, and
I think he was one that found himself out the team after the semi-final when he nicked a goal, and he probably could have considered himself treated a wee bit harshly to be out the team for I think it was the European game after that.
Yeah, I just think he always scores goals as well. He's a goal scorer. I think he's had two starts and 2 goals.
New contract maybe for him. What is he, 32, 33, which is nothing.
It's nothing.
No, seriously. And we talked about you. We talked about Stephen Davis, Alan McGregor. Okay, it's different for goalkeepers, but yeah.
Well, at least if he looks after himself, Paul.
For sure.
It doesn't matter if you're 32 or 22. He could be fit on a 22-year-old. He definitely looks as if he still gets about the pitch, and he's an intelligent player as well, Paul. I just honestly, I'm a firm believer that if you're playing midfielders, you need midfield runners. It does help the attacking players as well.
Yeah.
If I'm honest, he's great at that inside run in between the left back and the centre back, or the right back and the right centre back. He's terrific at it, and he got his goal against that at Livingston, if you've seen that. And he is a good finisher, and he does create space for other players, if not himself.
You an agent for him? No,
I'm not. I'm just trying to talk the game up because nothing really is happening.
There's nothing happening. And actually, I was kind of being joking but everyone's been talking about him the last few days, and I think he is a kind of unsung hero, and people have talked about would he get another contract? Well, why not?
He didn't really play under Gerrard this season, if I'm honest. And since Giovanni Van Bronckhorst has come in, he's starting to use him a little bit more.
Aberdeen have gone 2 up. Let's go to Simon Donnelly.
Yeah, Christian Ramirez in the 9th minute. That's a fantastic start for Aberdeen. 2-0 up. I predicted him at the start of the show, and it's proven to be the case at the moment. But it's a great start for them. 2 goals in the first 10 minutes.
You predict a riot. Who sang that one?
Kaiser Chiefs.
Kaiser Chiefs. That's what we were saying right at the top of the programme. If you've been with us for an hour and 10 minutes, thank you. And when I said there's a bit of banter going on, we were talking about that music versus the football.
It's a great start for Aberdeen,
isn't it?
Playing in games like that over the years against, as Chris touched on, St Mirren, it could be a cagey affair, intense. To get 2 goals up after 10 minutes, he's suddenly playing with their freedom.
That's my draw out the window, isn't it?
Yeah, sure.
That's what it looks like.
Somebody Eamon Brophy, you hope for him to score goals. He's a terrific player. What was he like first hand?
He plays on the edge, of the defence. Sometimes he obviously needs to work on his offside. Sometimes he's offside quite a lot, but he kind of drifts to the side. But he's got a fantastic shot on him, as we just see. Fashion Sakala did the absolute opposite. We're not a great shot. He actually turns the right back inside out, shifts it onto his left foot inside the box.
Does well to create the space, doesn't he? He should do better.
He should just guile, past that, maybe across the face of goal with his instep. He's went to lash at it, probably make it look good rather than just be good with it. But definitely should have shot across the face there. Do you think, Simon? You're the striker, you know.
Big chance. As I say, he goes by the guy as if he's not there, on his left foot. Maybe is that he's weaker of the two, but it takes a lash at it. You're looking for a wee bit of composure and hit the target there. That was a big chance for Rangers just in the 11th minute.
I just find, see, when you're using your opposite foot, you shouldn't hit it as hard. You just have to concentrate on the technique.
Yeah.
So if you hit it with less power, then you'll get more, accuracy on the shot.
From Fashion Sakala.
Yeah. If that's his right foot, then I can understand why he did that. But if it's your opposite foot, you have to take more concentration on it and just shoot, you know, a little bit less power.
I get that. Yeah, I hope younger listeners are listening. That's what to do. So with your weaker foot,
I'm not saying that's definitely what
no,
to
you're
do.
absolutely right, and also practice with it. Surely,
Practice
Oh
with
yeah.
it,
Yeah.
Nowadays you have to be able to play with both feet.
Yes.
Great story, quick story with Lubo Moravcik. Great with both feet. We did a gig a couple of years ago, and we were on the stage, and I said, "Look, what is your strongest foot?" We still don't know after all these years. He says, "Well, both." I said, "It's amazing." He says, "Well, you obviously didn't work hard enough on your left foot, Simon." And that's it. Kind of put me in my place, and it's a good message for kids.
But when I was at
He never found it natural. He worked at it.
when I was at Rangers, Shot Avaladze was a great influence to me, and he would take me after training and tell me to practice with my opposite foot. And to this day, obviously, I think I've scored 50% goals with my left and my right.
You're naturally right-footed.
That's credit to him. Yeah, I'm naturally right-footed.
He was a great player as well, wasn't he?
Wasn't he? Shot up. As Millwall go one up against one of your old teams, Chris Burke. Millwall 1, Birmingham 0. Murray Wallace the scorer there. Here in the Premiership, Aberdeen setting the heather on fire. There's quite a bit of heather in Aberdeen area. I know it's not quite the Highlands, but yeah, they're 2 up against St Mirren, and Marley Watkins and Christian Ramirez the scorer there. Hibs are at Motherwell 0-0. St Johnstone, Ross County's off because of the weather, postponed at the second attempt. They gave it as long as they could, but it's off. And Rangers 0, Dundee 0. But we'll see it here on Rangers TV. See Emma's on there, Neil McCann, and Go Radio's own Craig Moore. I saw a crunching tackle he had on Henrik Larsson, just as I saw it on social media yesterday.
A fair one.
Oh, it was. No, it was to be fair, I think it was a good tackle. Yeah, it was a good tackle, I think. Chris, what's happening here?
Well, we've
Who's
got a
up for
free kick
Rangers?
here, and Barisic, Hadji and Tavernier are all over it. I don't know who actually decides who gets the first shot at the free kick. I think it's Tavernier's range, if I'm honest, as he goes over the wall, but just a little bit soft, and the Dundee goalkeeper takes it in his chest, and it's probably an easy one. But listen, it was on target, and probably a little bit of a warning sign to Dundee. You know, you can't give away free kicks in that area, especially when you've got the likes of Hadji, you've got the likes of Barisic and Tavernier, who are great with dead ball situations.
Southampton 0, Brighton 0. Strange days, isn't it, when the Brighton fans are booing because they draw. And I'm, full credit to that club, the way the expectations have gone up. And just looking there, Simon, at St James's Park, and it's still 0-0 Newcastle and Burnley. You would think with the home crowd today, the Geordies, that is this the day that they finally get a win?
For Newcastle, I think I think the sooner Eddie Howe gets his first win, the better. They're down there. They've obviously had the takeover, but they need to start winning games. It's similar to, they're not a million miles off, it's similar to Aston Villa with Stevie Gerrard going in. He gets a couple of results and momentum gathers, and I think that's where Newcastle have to get to now. They get that first win, get the place lifted, get the players lifted, and start picking points up regular.
Hint of an attempt there for Rangers again.
Yeah, Fashion Sakala's looking very lively, Paul, if I'm honest. He's replaced Kent, who's not even on the bench, probably injured, but he's taking his chance very well. I think if there's going to be a goal, it looks as if it's going to come from him. He's a switch of play from Hadji to Sakala. He drives inside, takes on 2 players and has a shot, and it looks as if it was going in the bottom corner, and it was blocked by Fontaine, and they get a corner out it. And again, a great delivery from Barisic from the corner. Morelos gets his head on it, and it's cleared away. And Dundee are kind of penned in here. Rangers look a bit relentless in the first 15 minutes, but again, it's 0-0, and as I said, you're playing 3 blocks of 15s, and that's the first one out the road.
Simon, huge day tomorrow. Well, everyone is, isn't it, in this league? At Celtic at Dundee United, the win against Hearts 1-0, but Jota going off injured, Welsh off injured, and there was another injury, wasn't there? There was 3 of them. It went off. Ralston as well, Anthony Ralston. What about Jota? Did that look the most serious?
I think Ange went on record saying that Ralston was the one he was more concerned about. I think you're always concerned with a hamstring injury. And when Jota made the run across the park, I was on the opposite side watching, and I was hoping that he'd maybe just get a little stud, a little knock that was going to take. But when you start holding hamstrings, it's a worry. And there's a chance for Rangers, just wide there.
Sakala again. Actually drifts over to the right hand side. Rangers win the ball high up with a great press from Arfield and Kamara. Morelos nicks it off the left back. Sakala, has a snapshot across the face. He probably could have done a little bit better there, if I'm honest, but looking really lively, Sakala.
Can I ask you a question? Is Morelos looking a bit sharper, a bit livelier? We know he's been told to stay near the box because he's been involved in a few moves.
Yeah. I just think, you know, when you get a new manager, you're more alive. You have to be on your toes a little bit more, Simon. I don't know about you, everybody, especially a new manager, because when they always say you've got a fresh start. I don't know what happened before me, and I don't care. I want to know now. And probably, I think Giovanni Van Bronckhorst spoke about it. He said they had a chat with him when he just came in. So I think that chat was probably a good one. As you can see, you're rightly so. He is looking sharper. He's a goal scorer, and he just loves scoring goals.
I think sometimes that's maybe all it takes is somebody to remind you actually what your job is. I think he's been, and maybe that was the instruction under the old management, you know, to come a wee bit deeper. But ultimately, as you say, he's a goal scorer, be at the top end of the pitch. And I think I agree with you as well. You always get a wee reaction with a new manager. The only surprise for me was with him sitting in the stand at the semi-final, he didn't really get a reaction. You know, that first game, I know he wasn't hands-on at that point, but since then, yes, Morelos has looked a little bit sharper. But I think it's maybe just been reminded of, you know, play at the top end of the pitch, be up there ready to put the ball in the net.
Still Rangers 0, Dundee 0, Aberdeen 2, St Mirren 0, and there's no scoring at Easter Road. Hibs against Motherwell. Yes, on Jota the other night, I know it's hard to say, but Anthony Ralston, what season he's having, and Celtic, you can see when you look at the bench, they are short of numbers, aren't they, of quality on the bench, and January can't come soon enough. They need to keep as close as they can to the league leaders.
Yeah, they have to stay on the coattails, and that's winning every game, because I expect Rangers to win most of theirs as well. Jota has been the player on form. Kyogo really brought an energy, and he pops up with the goal again the other night, but Jota is getting better and better. He's a real crowd pleaser in terms of his ability. You know, he brings a lot to the game. His end product is brilliant, you know, assists and goals.
He's like an old-fashioned winger, isn't he? He does tricks, you know.
But he gets that. I mean, how many times are you frustrated with a wide man when he does the trick and then kicks out the park or trips over it? He's got an end product to his game, and I think he's only going to get better. You know, they're crying out for him to sign him as a Celtic player. But yeah, that would be a wee concern for me, you know, moving forward. The game's coming thick and fast, and he's pulled up a wee hamstring injury.
14 goals in 28 games. Sorry, Chris.
You're right. It's a great return, isn't it? You know, as a wide player, you know, especially now when you see they're not really wide players, they're wide forwards, aren't they? And they have to deliver in assists and goals. Their numbers have to be good, and that's one thing Jota is great at, delivering goals and assists. And again, we spoke about it before, he's both-footed, and that's why he can do the trick. And then, you know, the defender doesn't know is he going right or left. You know, he can score both if he's right and he's left. But I'm a little bit concerned with hamstring injuries like that as an attacking player, especially when you're a forward player, Simon. I just think when you get a hamstring injury, it takes you longer to recover because you need to go 100%. You know, you're not a defender where you can just manage the game. When you're an attacking player, you need that hamstring to be 100%, especially the way Ange plays as well. And I just think that might be 3 or 4 weeks, I think he might be out for.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing about it was he seemed to be focused on Ralston's injury more than so that you're hoping, you know, there's something positive from that. But on Ralston himself, the lad, it's a fantastic story because, you know,
it's incredible.
He could easily have kind of gave in. You know, he went to St Johnstone, Dundee United. He might have regarded his Celtic career over. But like we were talking about Bassey, a new manager comes in, you get the platform, and boy, is he taking his chance. You know, he's got a Scottish cap on the back of his performances early in the season.
Phenomenal. Another goal in the first division. Russell McLean has scored for Peterhead, so it's Clyde 0, Peterhead 1 in the match of the day. It's Rangers 0, Dundee 0. It's Go Radio.
The Go Radio Football Show with thetaxicentre.com. Don't miss out on huge savings on your new taxi. Available exclusively to the taxi trade.
Let's go!
Been a penalty claim at Ibrox. Rangers 0, Dundee 0. No change anywhere else. Stranraer have gone 1 up at Stenhousemuir. Aberdeen are 2 up against St Mirren. I'm with this afternoon Simon Donnelly, the former Celtic star, and Chris Burke, the current Kilmarnock star and former Rangers. What's the penalty claim?
Yeah, so again, Sakala on the left hand side, you know, plays a cut back and Morelos steps over it and it finds Hadji in the centre of the box, and Charlie Adam comes in to nick the ball from behind, takes down Hadji and the ball. It's whether did he take Hadji down first before the ball. Again, we're speaking about VAR. I think VAR would have had a look at that and it would have been potentially that it could have been a penalty to Rangers, and that's why we always want the best for the Scottish League, and the quicker it's introduced, the better. But still 0-0.
Still 0-0. Great start to the afternoon though for Aberdeen. For St Mirren, the next goal is absolutely crucial, and you've spotted an equaliser. Stennismuir 1, Stranraer 1. Scott Robertson. How big for Saints need to pull something before half time, I would imagine. Pittodrie, dark Saturday afternoon in December.
Yeah, I think worst possible start, obviously the opposite to Aberdeen, but yeah, they need to get something to get back in the game. There's a fantastic save from the Dundee keeper there, from Sakala again. He's had a hell of a 25 minutes.
Unbelievable.
He's been the heart of
everything.
Yeah, he hit that, he catches this one, it actually breaks off Charlie Adam, I think, there to him. He takes a great strike with his left foot, and it's just touched round the corner for another Rangers corner.
That's a terrific save, that is. Terrific save. He's similar position to where he was when he blasted it, near post, but he came out, he went across the face this time. He done the right thing, but it was a terrific save from the keeper. It was probably a no bad height. If he could have hit it a bit lower, it would have been in, but at the same time, it was a good shot and a good save. Rangers knocking at the door. And I think if this continues, then Rangers will get a goal before half time, and Sakala is at the heart of everything. Definitely the player for Rangers so far. As Barisic has a shot from range, but the goalkeeper deals with it well.
I love that phrase, from a no bad height, and we know what you mean.
It's
absolutely.
That was a Gorbals in me.
That was good, yeah. None of this, in the transition, we were. Transition's okay, but all the fruit. I do bang on about that.
The new jargon.
Oh, there's too much of it.
Well, we are Scottish, so we have to include some
My boy
Scottish.
came in.
Yeah.
My boy came in the other week from his school football, and I said, "Where did you play, Cam?" And I went, "You were quite Cam." He went, "No, Cam, centre attacking midfielder." It's
seriously,
aye,
central attacking midfielder.
They call it Cam.
Is that inside
Yeah,
forward?
that's all the FIFA stuff now, isn't it? They get it from FIFA, Paul. You get Cam,
was
you
telling
get
me how-
CD, you get
He
CDM.
was telling me about his performance and how he felt.
Yeah. The thing is, see, nowadays when you're coaching kids, you have to speak like that. That's the thing, because that's how they retain the information.
I saw you coaching the other week. You turned up, I saw, which was great. It was a reward as Forfar go 1-up at Albion Rovers, and Middlesbrough 1-up on Swansea under new management there. Yeah, was that in Ayrshire? I saw it. Certainly you turned up.
I turned up for an event. It was Andy Robertson's charity. They asked me to turn up and just have a chat with the kids. The usual questions: what car do you drive? How much money do you earn? How long have you been playing the game? How many? Have you ever scored an overhead kick?
Questions.
All these sort of questions. But it was great just to give something back. Wasn't
no different from my interviews with you. Grant Savary has scored for Peterhead, so the men from the Blue Toon are 2-up against Clyde. And it's a tough afternoon there.
How good a feeling is it,
Broadwood.
Simon, when you're at home and you're winning 2-0, like at Aberdeen, 25 minutes.
That's what I'm saying. 10 minutes into a game, if you're 2-0 up, you just start playing with an extra confidence. Having said that, we'll probably jinx them just down St Mirren will score. I'm just thinking about the prediction at the Easter Road. We talked about goals and stuff,
colour,
and we're 26 minutes in and nothing yet.
Why were you asking that about being 2-up at home, and what did it feel like? You've not felt that way for a wee while. Kelly at home, we're hoping that you come up. Mind you, you've got Partick Thistle and Glasgow, so many great teams, but you are the favourites. And the home form, why do you think it's not been as good as the away form?
I spoke to you before. I just think it's harder to create than it is to destroy. Especially in the fight. To score a goal, people think it's easy, and it's just not. It's the hardest thing to do. Is score in the opposition's box, especially when you're playing at home and the team plays a little bit more defensively, as you've seen here with Rangers. It's difficult to score. As much as I say that a corner comes in and goes as a free header and it's a great save again, but we've got 4 losses at home. Our home form's not been great, something that we need to rectify, but we're working hard each day in the training field, and when we have got beat, it's been with small margins, and we have had chances in the game, but again, it's not easy to be that creative all the time. You have to just make sure when you get the moments that you take them, and if you don't take them, it puts more pressure on you, doesn't it? The longer the game goes, it's 0-0 like here at Dundee. At Ibrox, it'll upset the crowd. They might get frustrated if they go in 0-0 at half time, and then play the next block of 15. Before you know it, you're 60 minutes in, and the fans are on your back.
So is that a yellow card there on Danny Mullen for a tackle on Sakala there? Yeah, is that fair? It's going to be a free kick for Rangers then. Danny Mullen, who scored midweek, 7 goals, did you say?
Danny Mullen, no, 3-3 scored.
3-3, sorry, yeah.
Scored 3-3.
We'll watch for this then. Who's going to take it for Rangers? Free
I
kick.
think Barisic might take this one, whip it in between the goalkeeper and the defender as it's in the left-hand side. He whips it in, and Aribo with a free header. That's Goldson with a free header who hit the target. He probably could have done a little bit better, but a good save. And then from that, you've got a great ball in from Barisic.
Again, a decent chance there. He's managed to get away from his marker. It's a kind of free header. He's just not got enough purchase on it. It's more glanced, and he's glanced it 2 or 3 yards wide of the post.
The thing is, with Aribo, he's probably better with both feet rather than his head, isn't he? If that was on the floor, that was in the top corner, wasn't it?
Morton have gone 1 up against Ayr United. Ugbo scoring in 26 minutes. Peterhead, as we mentioned, 2 up at Clyde. And in England, in the Premier League, down on the coast, Southampton 1, Brighton 0. Earlier today, it was West Ham. They lost the first goal, didn't they? They were
1-0 down.
1-0 down.
Then went 2-1 up.
And the final is 3-2. And what a result there for West Ham. So, they hope to be in Europe again next season. Could they be in the Champions League? Because obviously it's going to be Chelsea or Man City or Liverpool, the 3 of them, in whichever order. Although, can Rangnick make a difference? And will Man United be in Champions League?
They're all sitting there. Man U, I think Arsenal were there before today's result. Tottenham have seemed to creep back into it. I think the 4 will come from that kind of 8. But West Ham are in the mix. They've beat Chelsea today. I think they took the points off Liverpool at home. They're capable of beating the teams round about them. So it's just about consistency after that. But you've got 2 or 3 big hitters hovering as well.
Yeah, well, West Ham have a 4-point gap between the rest, and they sit 4th, which is good, and that's credit to David Moyes. But you do have the likes of Arsenal, Manchester United. You could say Leicester as well, that are trying to compete for that 4th spot, that last Champions League spot. Tottenham as well, with Conte, their rival, you'd like to think that they'll pick up. So it's so difficult, isn't it, to even finish in the top 6 in England? Because you're right.
I think you're looking at one place.
Yeah, looking at one place.
The other 3 are more or less taken. I mean, Liverpool had a really unusual season last year, and I think it was Van Dijk out didn't help. Everything about COVID. They look as if they're back to winning form, championship form. So I think there's one spot up for grabs.
You're totally right. There's one spot. Who is it for you then that'll win the league? I say
City.
I'm going City.
I'm going
City.
You're going City as well?
Who you going
for? At Liverpool.
Yeah.
I really like Liverpool. That's not why I'm saying it. But as Rangers come forward, still 0-0, 31 minutes gone. Was a chance there a moment ago.
Everything's happened down the left, if I'm honest. Any good work done by Rangers is down the left. Aribo, goes down the side. Great cross with his left foot. Great defending there by the Dundee defender Sweeney, just getting at the front post area. And if he didn't get there, Morelos was there with a free header. But there's a free kick here. Maybe Morelos has gave a foul during that activity. So
looks like it, doesn't it?
Either that or offside. But Dundee are doing well. 31 minutes gone and it's 0-0. They'll be happy, as much as they might have tired legs, but you have to work hard to get anything at Celtic Park and at Ibrox as well. You have to work tirelessly.
Stenhousemuir 1, Stranraer 2. Anthony Brady scoring just a few moments ago, and nothing much happening there for our own Barry Ferguson. He'll be back on Monday night at 0-0 for Alloa, playing at East Fife. Bit of a derby there, I suppose. It is. Premiership, Aberdeen still 2 up in St Mirren. Marley Watkins after just a couple of minutes, and then Christian Ramirez. Hibs 0, Motherwell 0.
Game of the day.
That was it. We were saying yes. You were saying 7-7. No, you just said probably a few goals. You think Hibs, long way to go. Isn't it funny? In fact, I'm not even going to speak about Jack Ross under pressure. I see people have been saying that. He's got them in a cup final.
I know.
He's a he has a top class manager. Yeah, we'd agree. Really good manager. He was so unlucky at Sunderland, wasn't he?
Yeah,
just that the playoff
again. Another setback and coming back to Hibs and still believing in what he believes gets success out of a team. I think he's recruited really well. He's got a great tight-knit group, and
some good players there. Good players. They showed that in the semi-final. I think they had a little slump, 4 back-to-back defeats, but as we said earlier on, they'll still get a couple of games in hand, and on the right half of the league, so they'll be looking to push forward.
Davy Provan after the beating Rangers to get to the League Cup final, Premier Sports final, said they'll lose. And of
I think
course
I
they
heard
did.
that. I think I heard that.
They went up and lost.
Yeah.
Was that Ross
And
County?
that'll be really frustrating for Jack Ross. You know, the performance they put in, particularly the first half against Rangers, to go up there and slip up. You know, hugely frustrating.
Just looking to see where Andy Walker is. He's in a busy week.
Where was he there?
Well, I
Did you
don't
notice?
know. Was that
was
somewhere
at
in England?
It looked cold.
Well spotted. Yeah, you know that ground. You've played
I actually
there.
can see from
Yeah,
there.
yeah. Well
Yeah,
done.
you know, he was at Blackpool. I don't know who they're playing though.
Yep. Yeah, because Andy was out Motherwell, wasn't he?
It
So
looked
Monday,
very cold
Tuesday.
there. He was wrapped up. I noticed his scarf, but I didn't quite notice what ground he was at.
Housemuir are now 3-1 down at home to Stranraer. We did that on St Andrews Day. We said, let's who are the great Andrews, Andys, Andres or whatever. So Andy Robertson, Andy Walker, Andrei Kanchelskis was mentioned, Andy Gorham. There's lots of them. They're playing Luton. Thank you, Stuart. It's 0-0 with Rangers. There's loads of other Andys that came to mind as well. Andy Ritchie, for some of the older listeners
Ritchie,
who would remember him at Morton, Player of the Year.
He was a scout at Celtic when I was there.
Right,
Andy.
okay. Yep. Andy Halliday was mentioned as well. Yep.
I don't know. You can keep going and going.
Because you're watching Rangers.
I don't think I'm going to come up with one because I can't multitask.
Yeah. Andrei Kanchelskis.
Yeah.
Obviously, Man United, Rangers, and Everton. What a player he was! Because Barry was telling us a wee bit about him. Yeah, it was good. And then we said about best goalkeepers on the 1st of December on your birthday, Simon. And best keepers for Barry, it's Alan McGregor. You know,
ahead of Andy Gorham.
Yeah, I think. But I think the season he had last year cemented it for him. Yeah, I think so.
I've heard a few of the Rangers. I think McCoy was talking about that, and I think they find it really hard to
split
the two of them.
But the two of them, magnificent goalkeepers. Davey said it was Pat Bonner because obviously he played for so many years. Who's the best keeper you have played with?
I'm actually going to say Alan McGregor. I had a short period of time with Griggs at Dunfermline. I thought he was excellent. You know, he obviously went on to bigger and better things with Rangers.
What age was he then? About 20 or?
Well, that would have been 2006. I went to Dunfermline, and he was there. He was
in his 20s. Yeah,
he was in our car share through from Glasgow with the young brothers.
Hibs have gone 1-up, and it's Kevin Nisbet against Motherwell. So Hibs 1, Motherwell 0. First goal for them this afternoon, and he's back on form, isn't he, Simon?
Yep.
He's got his mojo back.
And Rangers just score as well. A Rebo, slight deflection, beats the keeper. Rangers go 1-0 up after 35 minutes.
Chris Burt, the Rangers goal.
Yeah, but I actually missed that, Paul, because I was looking at the other screen. But I thought it was Arfield that scored and it hit off him. But Aribo, yes, we're going to see it here. He's on the right hand side. He just cuts inside, eliminates a couple of players and shoots through a couple of other players. And Fontaine tries to block it, and he's probably short sighted. The goalkeeper hasn't he? He's probably a little bit too deep.
I think that's what it's taking it past the keeper. I think looking at it, the keeper's placed himself. And the deflection.
It's a shot that probably the goalkeeper would be able to pick up. It's to him. It's on the floor. It's not with great pace. You know, Fontaine sticks a leg out. You can see he's not happy, and that's the opening in 36 minutes at 1-0. I heard Giovanni Van Bronckhorst speak a lot about keep the zero. He keeps saying that phrase.
That's right. Yep.
Keep the zero. So I think he'll be saying that at half time if it's 1-0.
Queen's Park, they're keeping the 0 and they've gone further ahead. Queen's Park 2, Falkirk 0. Liam Brown, the scorer, after 35 minutes. Yeah, that big news this week. A new director of football, 37-year-old. He's been 15 years. How young? Obviously, he was 22 when he started. Yeah, and he's been the architect of that system where nearly 48% of their talent was homegrown. What a model that is, isn't it?
But it was a great vision for Queen's Park to go and take on board, and brilliant if it bears fruit over the years, you know, showing a real ambition. Another old club of mine, I was briefly there, so good to see.
Yeah,
Good that they have
they're in
patience
for the long
as well,
haul.
aren't it?
Yeah.
You're saying the long haul. It's good that they have patience and they have a structure and they're not rushing it. You know, a lot of clubs I think now try and rush things. You know, they want it in 6 months, they want it in a year, and it just can't happen, Paul. It just can't. You know, they've even said 15 years, and I think the interview, I think it was John Hartson that asked, and she said we're actually ahead of schedule.
Yes,
and it was amazing her just to say that, because maybe giving that noise out to the fans gives them a little bit of, you know, less anxiousness towards the team and the manager, where they say that we are ahead of schedule. You know, we're still trying to find our feet in League One, and hopefully we do get to the Championship.
Tough league to get out of, though. But Rangers coming forward, 1 goal up. That Joe Aribo goal a few moments ago. And if Rangers stay ahead, they'll be 7 points clear tonight, ahead of Celtic's game tomorrow. As Rangers come forward again, Chris Burt down the left.
Yeah, well, it was a great ball in with Tavernier. We all know how great delivery Tavernier has. He just finds it in a little bit of deeper area. He puts the ball into the back post where Sakala goes to put the header in, but the right back does terrific for Dundee, and he clears it out for a corner, but it was actually a free kick because Sakala came in at the back of him, and it looks like it's a little bit of a nasty one. I think two players will be getting seen to here, Simon.
Yep, Kerr just took it on the back of the head there, and he's feeling it, and I think Sakala is too. Yeah, just a nasty clash, accidental. He was obviously going for the ball, and Kerr was trying to clear it, and there's a wee bit of blood there from Sakala as well. So
let's hope they're both okay. Charlie Adam back at Ibrox. What a player he's been over the years. You've both played. Did you play alongside him? Of course you did.
And he's been horrible for my game getting into the playoffs, and when I was in the Championship, twice it was
with Blackpool.
He beat me, yes, with Blackpool. It was Blackpool Cardiff final at Wembley. They won 3-2, and he scored a great free kick. And then it was Blackpool Birmingham in the semi-final playoffs, and they beat us again, and he was involved in that. So yeah, I didn't like to see the sight of Charlie when he's there, but he was a terrific player, and you know what, he's a terrific character as well. I actually heard him. I heard him apologising because of some words that he said about when Rangers were in a bad way about money, and he was just wanting to look after his brother because he was at the club at the time, and he was wanting him to get paid. So he actually apologised for his words, and it just shows you that sometimes people make mistakes in what they say, as long as you own up to that. But he was great for Rangers. Just nearly 100 appearances.
Spell at Liverpool as well.
I know. What a career, isn't it?
Brilliant.
And then Stoke, and in the top flight for a long time. Aberdeen still 2 up in St Mirren. Hibs 1 up in Motherwell. Kevin Nisbet, and Motherwell fans won't want to see that, but the neutral and the Hibs fans and Scotland fans, we want our strikers on form, don't we, for the matches coming up in March, and hopefully we're through, and then we play hopefully Wales. We'd love that, wouldn't we? Wales.
I was talking to big John Hartson at the start of the week about that, so I was trying to join the queue for the tickets if we get there with Cardiff, but he was saying it was hard enough for him to get tickets. He was kind of...
Did you ever see the it was on social media with, is it Ukraine who were playing? The manager and the Ukraine ambassador all celebrating that they got us. Did you see that?
No, I haven't seen it.
As soon as it came out, they were all celebrating.
Brilliant. That's what you want, isn't it? Because then you just play that in the dressing room.
Play that.
Who needs a team top? But it will be tough. I mean, Ukraine, but we can do it. Or can we?
Yeah, of course we can do it. It's going to be tough though, really tough, especially when you see the likes of teams. Do you know what's a shame as well, that you've got Italy and Portugal. It looks as if one of them's going to miss out, because you want the best teams there, don't you?
Of course.
But hopefully we'll be there as well. It's going to be hard, but as long as we just make sure the Ukraine game's an important game and not think about Cardiff or Wales, we just think about Ukraine. We get that one over the line, then we can focus on the next one. Sounded like Steve Clark there, because that's
you did. Will you go into coaching eventually? I know I've asked you that before, but I've not asked you for about a year. Hopefully not for a while, but in a couple of years' time, do you think you would be in team management?
I would love to, but I've still got a lot to learn, and I'm very adaptable. I do a lot of work with the Kilmarnock Academy, whether it's under 13s or whether it's the development squad that are out on loan. I'm just willing to learn. The likes of Alan Maybury, Greg Clark, the academy coach as well, and even also off the manager and stuff, and even the 13s coaches, I learn off them, because I think every day's a learning day, and I try and take little sessions off them, parts what I could improve, and then hopefully just bring what I know to the session. So I do love doing it. If there's one thing about it, I would do it all night. I would rather do that than sit and watch the television. So
sure.
Yeah, no, I'm hopefully when I do retire that I'm involved in some sort of coaching capacity.
What's happening at Newcastle? What's the latest, Simon?
Well, we talked about a win, a much needed win. Callum Wilson has scored in the 40th minute to put them in the lead 1-0 against Burnley here. So it's a much needed 3 points hopefully this afternoon for Newcastle and Eddie Howe. And I just see Montrose have equalised against Kelty Hearts in the Scottish Cup.
Are you allowed to equalise against Kelty Hearts? They just win a bit every game, don't they? As your old team, Blackpool 0, Luton 1 at the moment. Sonny Bradley the scorer. There is Andy Walker up and down and around the country.
And Rangers just had a chance here. Sorry to interrupt. Hadji 25 yards out, Morelos with a great little run in between the centre backs and a great little slide pass in between the centre back and the full back. And Morelos could have done better. You know, he's lashed at it low. The Dundee goalkeeper comes out and closes the space. It could have went under his legs, but I think he just got there in time and it was a great save. But again, Rangers knocking at the door looking for that killer second, because I think if they get the second, you know, it'll be very difficult for Dundee to come back from that.
Simon Donnelly, we said that Saints, if they're going to do anything, we need to score, and they've now scored.
It's exactly what they've done, Paul. Scott Tanzer, 42nd minute, gets them back in the game after a terrible start, but yeah, that gives them a lifeline getting into the half time, bringing it back to 1 goal deficit.
And that's probably a different team talk from what it would have been, you know, 3 minutes later, and probably keeping maybe the same formation. Usually you're 2-0 down, Jim Goodwin would be going in, maybe changing formation.
Just as we speak,
I'll just be quiet on you go, Simon.
Marley Watkins, 3-1 Aberdeen now. So St Mirren thinking they'd get themselves back into it there. And that team talk that we spoke about is just changed again.
He's changing formation and personnel again.
Why does that happen so often? I mean, it must drive managers nuts. You know, you get yourself back in the game.
Well.
It's taking so long to get back into the game, and then all of a sudden, Watkins, who's in a rich vein of form, he's you know, notched his second of the afternoon.
You like him, Simon?
Yeah, he's a good addition. Quite lively against Celtic last week. Covered the game, and so it's a different team talk altogether again. 3-1 Aberdeen. Did you enjoy it the other night at Celtic? You said you were there. Celtic against Hearts. Yeah, I did. Yeah, I just went. I wasn't working the other night, so enjoyed the game. Took my sons along. I thought Celtic started lively, but definitely you've got to give Hearts some credit. Second half, you know, they played some good stuff. Thought Barry Mackay was really lively, and it boiled down to the goal in the end.
Do you think just the way Ange asked them to play, that they just still try to adapt to playing at that level, at that high intensity for 90?
I do. Because I think sometimes of late I've seen them perform like that in the first half and then tire a wee bit. I actually heard an interesting thing during the week for somebody. It was the Q&A with Ange Postecoglou, and he said that the players were still just getting used to the intensity that he wanted them to train at, which is interesting.
I think Starfelt said that as well.
Yeah,
he's just come in and he's still trying to adjust to the coaching style and the intensity of the training, because I do find that sometimes when I do watch Celtic that they start so brightly, like a Liverpool, they're just relentless. Even if they score 1, they want to score 2, they want to score 3, it doesn't matter, they keep playing the same way. And then in the second half, and you know what it's like, Simon, when you're 1-0 up or 2-0 up, and you kind of come off it a little bit, just naturally, don't you?
Yeah, and especially at home as well, the tension's always there. They're aware of what Rangers did the night before. You're aware of, you know, one slip up, Hearts could be back in it. We talked about the GMS effort where he almost trips himself up. I think that fell to Barry Mackay. So Hearts had a couple of chances there. So 1-0, you're never safe. But I do agree. I think Celtic go out to try and blow teams away early doors, and sometimes that does happen. But when it's 1-0, you know, it's still precarious. Rangers are 1 up. There's 1 minute of the 2 being added on. At half time, Hamilton 0, Dunfermline 0. It's all square. At Palmerston, Queen of the South 0, Partick Thistle 0. Forfar are 1 up at Clifton Hill. Albion Rovers 0, Forfar 1. Middlesbrough 1 up on Swansea. And Morton, that 1 goal up on Ayr United. As Rangers, this will probably be the last move of the first half. Aberdeen are still 3-1 up against St Mirren. They were 2 up, and then Saints pulled 1 back. In fact, that is the half-time scoreline there. Marley Watkins with 2, Ramirez with 1, and Scott Tanzer getting what is the consolation at the moment. So again, the next goal, it has to be for St Mirren if they have to take anything from Pittodrie, your old club, Chris Burke, are a goal down at half-time. One of your many clubs, it's Blackpool 0, Luton 1. As Rangers come forward, Fashion Sakala, is he going to let fly? No, he plays it through to Morelos, but that's a poor finish, isn't it?
It is a poor finish. You know, he's not connected, but I think he's probably... So Sakala again, driving at the defence, running inside, you know, plays a little straight ball to Morelos, who's like at the penalty spot, and he's went to pass it into the net, but he's not connected with it, and he's just passed it straight to the goalkeeper. We're about 8 yards out.
Stenhousemuir 1, Stranraer 3, Cowdenbeath 0, Stirling Albion 0, and Cove Rangers 0, Dumbarton 0. These are the scores as the whistle goes. It's half time. Rangers 1, Dundee 0.
The Go Radio Football Show with the Taxi Centre. Visit their showroom in Darnley, Glasgow to test drive your new taxi.
Let's go.
It's the Go Radio Football Show on a Saturday afternoon. I hope you're enjoying it. We've got Chris Burke of Kilmarnock in Scotland, Simon Donnelly, former Celtic and many other clubs in Scotland, and Paul Cooney here in the chair. Well, Simon, Rangers 1 up at half time. What do you think's going to happen?
Yeah, I think they look quite comfortable. It's been one-way traffic for most of the 45 minutes. Fashion Sakala looks really lively. He's had a couple of efforts in goal. Aribo had a header, and then Aribo gets the breakthrough. I think it was around about the 35th minute, deflected past the keeper. I think the deflection helps it, but Rangers have been comfortable, and I wouldn't be surprised if they go on to get another 2 or 3 goals in the second half.
Elsewhere in the Scottish Cinch Premiership, Aberdeen 3-1 up on St Mirren, Hibs 1 up on Motherwell. We'll give you the full half times in a moment or two. There was a late goal for Clyde, so they're back in it against Peterhead. David Goodwillie scoring in the 45th minute, 40 minutes plus 5, so a penalty from Goodwillie. That's the half-time scoreline there in the Championship. Hamilton and Dunfermline 0-0. Morton 1 up in Ayr United. Queen of the South and Thistle, as we said earlier, 0-0. Same story at Arbroath. And Queen's Park 2 up on Falkirk. East Fife, still no word on East Fife against Alloa. Not too many goals around this afternoon. Chris Burke.
Long may that continue in the Championship, if I'm honest.
Of course,
I wanted a lot of draws.
He's wanting draws all afternoon.
So I've got Partick Thistle drawing, and we've got, Rafe and Arbroath drawing, aren't we? So I think that's the two that we're looking at. And I did say I fancied Green up Morton. They're 1-0 up. They're looking still for their first home win.
Is there any other Morton? Sorry, it's this stuff. They've all started Green up Morton. No, not you. At Morton.
You allowed to say Morton, or you want to prefer?
Oh yeah, no, I prefer Morton.
Oh, right,
yeah,
okay.
no, it's all this new. I don't know why they say that. It's Morton, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's Morton. Well, no, I'm just.
No, but as we see there, you're right. We talk about that Rangers game. Sakala's been terrific. He's actually got a little bit of. He looks like Richard Gough now. He's got the headband round him. Only in the forward area. I don't know if Richard Gough was up that high the pitch, but
it looks as if he's come off second best in that clash.
Yeah, he has. But he's got great tenacity and desire to get in there. Not many players would have went for that header. And to be fair, it was a great recovering header, and it was a free kick. And sometimes these things happen, but hopefully he's okay for the second half. You know what it's like if you get a head knock. He might feel a little bit dizzy if you get a 15-minute break sitting down, because he has been the forefront of their attack. But I fancy Rangers to kick on now, and they've had about 75% possession of the ball. I think they've had something like 16 shots in goal, 7 on target. So it just shows you, they're pounding that Dundee box and the goalkeeper.
You sure are. It's the Go Radio Football Show with the Taxi Centre Saturday afternoon. So Aberdeen 3, St Mirren 1, Hibs 1, Motherwell 0, and Rangers 1, Dundee 0. That Joe Aribo, as Chris Burke told us a moment or two ago. And match postponed, St Johnstone against Ross County. Just looking for any no other late goals. I don't think.
If Hibs beat Motherwell today, that's a great result for Hibs, isn't it? Yep. Because that, I think, that's 3 points behind then. With two games in hand is a big thing for Hibs as well. Yeah, 3 points behind with 2 games in hand, and people were obviously saying about Hibs' form's not been great as recent, but it just shows you when you're a couple of games behind, it always looks worse than what it is. And if they get the 3 points today against their rivals, the team that's just above them, it can always look a little bit brighter. Then you've got a cup final to look forward to as well. So Jack Ross is obviously doing a terrific job there obviously in his team so far.
Second division, 4-1 up at Albion Rovers, 0-0 at Cowdenbeath, Stirling Albion. And as we told you, the situation at Stenhousemuir. And in the first division this afternoon, Clyde and Peterhead, that could be a really crucial goal there for Clyde. David Goodwillie, Clyde 1, Peterhead 2, and Queen's Park 2 up on Falkirk. Just looking south of the border, well, Newcastle, they got that goal. Simon, just looking for the half times for sure.
I just caught just my prediction with Liverpool. It's still 0-0 there, so that's quite interesting. Wolves are holding Liverpool at half time. I still fancy Liverpool to creep that one over the line, but it's 0-0 at half time. They're finding it tough today.
It's a bit like Scotland. I know it's a different level, but you know how the Premiership is so tough here, but also in England this year, everyone is capable of winning. I mean, Norwich have rallied a bit. I'm not saying they're going to stay up, but there's no guarantees in any of them.
I think Wolves have actually been doing okay as well. I don't have their stats in front of me, but I think Wolves have been doing okay. They're at home. I just thought with the form that Liverpool have been showing, They've been steamrolling everybody over the last few weeks, but they're finding it a tough nut to crack today at Molineux.
Big week coming up as well with European action, of course. Rangers will be in Lyon. I see there's just 2,000 tickets for Rangers fans. And Celtic Real Betis, but sadly a dead rubber. So although they're into the European Conference League, is it possible to get out of Europe these days? It's very difficult. Rangers staying in the Europa League itself. Yeah, Newcastle 1, Burnley 0. Here's the half time. Southampton 1, Brighton 0. And as Simon said, Wolves 0, Liverpool 0. In the Championship in England, Barnsley 1, Huddersfield 1. Blackburn 0, Preston North End 0, Blackpool 0, Luton 1. Bristol City are 1 up, and poor old Derby County, of course, and administration and all sorts of, well, huge number of points deducted. Cardiff, your old team, are 1 up, and Sheffield United and Middlesbrough 1 up on Swansea. Millwall 2, Birmingham 0. I won't keep saying your old teams. There's too many for both. No, but both of you have got every team.
One of them's winning, Cardiff's winning, so that's fine.
Forest 0, Peterborough 0, and Reading are 1 up on Hull.
Yeah, no, I was just going to say, one of my good friends, the assistant manager now at Cardiff, Mark Hudson. He took over from the 21s coach, who's a manager as well, so he's brought him in. And
you played alongside him?
I played alongside Mark Hudson. He was a centre back, he was a captain, great leader, and he's doing great with Cardiff so far since they've stepped in. I think they've got something like 3 wins out of 5 games since they've took over.
And that's why they're in, because they're having such a tough time. Quick break, and then we're back for the second half. Rangers are 1 up in Dundee.
Where do taxi drivers go when they need to buy a taxi? Well, the Taxi Centre have supplied cars to the trade for over 20 years, and they stock a huge range of motors from the world's leading manufacturers: Skoda, Kia, Toyota, Mercedes, Nissan, Ford, Hyundai, you name it. They've got saloons, MPVs, estates, minibuses, prestige cars, the lot, all under one roof, ready for immediate collection or free delivery anywhere on the mainland UK, with taxi trade exclusive discounts, flexible finance options and no hidden fees. They even throw in registration and 12 months road tax. So if you're a taxi driver who needs a new or used taxi, where would you go? TheTaxiCentre.com. Trade only.
The Go Radio Football Show with the Taxi Centre. Visit their showroom in Darnley, Glasgow to test drive your new taxi.
Let's go.
We're on there every evening, Monday to Friday, 5 till 7. Thanks for making the switch in the last year and a half here at the Go Radio Football Show. Coming from the heart of the Gorbals here in Glasgow, just yards away from the city centre. Simon, I know sometimes you just walk across into town, into the Merchant City.
Yeah, very lively in there as well, Paul, especially at this time of year. But as I said earlier, I'm still recovering from Monday and Tuesday.
So you're not out tonight?
No, recharge the batteries for later in the month.
Did you have the dressing room and all that at the Hydro? What's
The
it
green
like
room.
playing?
The green room.
Oh, of course it was, wasn't it, Chris? It would be a green room, wouldn't it? It's not going to be the blue room.
I've actually been in it before. We had the Star Sixes there before. I don't know if you remember that. It was a great tournament a couple of years back. So it was actually good to be in the green room the other night with the guys from Seville. I was imagining there was kind of a fly in the wall in their dressing room. The banter was flying. Chris Sutton was trying to hold court. Martin O'Neill was getting the final word. So it was almost as good watching them backstage as it was on the stage.
Is Chris Sutton the same as what he is in the telly? Is he a little bit different when it comes to that?
I think he's a wee bit different with his teammates, but he's still at the wind up, But I think Martin O'Neill on the night was just a little bit too quick for him.
Oh, is that a points victory for
I think
the manager?
so. I would, yeah.
Is there an instant respect then? As soon as Martin O'Neill walks in the room,
I think there was instant respect, and we had a pre-match before we went over to the Hydro, and the love was he was in there, he was cuddling Stan Petrov, he was cuddling Lubo Moravcik. I think these occasions are few and far between where players can get back together and share moments. So I think they all enjoyed themselves, catching up the other night.
Do you manage to catch up with your former Rangers colleagues? I know you're still playing at the moment, so that must be difficult, Chris.
I think it's hard when I'm still playing.
Sure.
You said, you go to tournaments like, is it the Soccer Six
Star
and stuff
Sixes,
like that? I've not experienced stuff like that, or go to events like you did there. So maybe once I retire, I'll maybe free me up some space to do and catch up again, because it's like you met them yesterday anyway when you meet them.
Of course it is. Of course it is. But you know yourself, and you could be in a dressing room with someone for 2 or 3 years. They get a move, they're away. It's probably like any walk of life, but sometimes it is ships passing in the night, and occasions like that, or a charity match, are always good for the guys to catch up.
Teams coming back out for the second half. In fact, they're out. Rangers, that Joe Aribo goal up 1 goal up so far. I see during the week there was speculation clubs in England wanting him, maybe Watford, maybe Crystal Palace. And is that a surprise? But surely Rangers wouldn't want to, because this is the £40 million season. Villa, I was waiting for you to say, because but they might also want, I don't know, Ryan Kent, maybe?
Well, it's two of Rangers' best players. Yep. Aribo has been, I think, their best player this year. So there will be interest, obviously. And it's in Rangers' interest to try and keep their best players. But yeah, when you perform, it's unfortunate the league we're in, you know, you do attract interest and money talks.
Especially when, like Celtic and Rangers, and the players are performing well in Europe and they can see that they can handle the big stage. Yeah. And Aribo's definitely one of them that can. Yeah, I think Aribo's a terrific player. I think he can definitely play in the Premier League. Kent, another obviously who seems to thrive in the European stage and brings the best out of himself. I know he's not playing today, but he's another one as well. He'll probably have transfer interest from other teams. What's
the manager said to Rangers at half time? Just that one up? What do you think?
The one thing I've noticed with Giovanni Van Bronckhorst is he's very calm, isn't he? He doesn't seem anything to fluster him. Any questions that the media pose to him, you know, whether he could get a reaction, nothing really happens. He's not really that animated, I've seen so far from the side, which is great calmness for the players on the pitch. So I definitely think his approach at half time would be a calm approach and more tactical, aware in what he's saying in the 50 minutes, but probably similar, just to make sure finish your chances. Because they've had 7 shots on target and it's just probably putting them away. Morelos has had a couple of goals, he's had a free header. Aribo's had a header, all right, he scored. Sakala's had a few shots, and it's actually the Dundee goalkeeper's been terrific so far. I think Sakala and Legdon's for Dundee, if I'm saying it rightly, have been the star players.
4-1 up. That's Stranraer at Stenhousemuir. Tommy Muir scoring a few moments ago. A penalty. Are you out tonight, Chris?
I am out tonight. I'm out with my good friend, actually, David Marshall, his wife, and
hero,
my wife. Yes, the hero.
Brilliant.
It is. So he'll probably attract all the attention. I'll just be sitting there, you know. Maybe I'll ask him for an autograph or something myself. But you know, we're going out for some food, which is great because I've not seen him in a couple of weeks, and it's always good to get babysitters and then just go out and relax a little bit, isn't it? I'm sure Simon's done that over the weekend and had too many.
Sure. He's recovering tonight. What's a keeper? David Marshall, and still, you know, legs, arms, hands in him. We'll never forget that save just over a year ago, and let's hope he gets a move in January, surely, because poor old Derby are in a really tough position.
Yeah, and again at one point there was talk of him coming back to Celtic. You know, obviously Celtic have moved forward now and got Joe Hart in, who I think has been excellent. But yeah, when they were, you know, struggling last year, we talk about Craig Gordon could have stayed at the club. David Marshall was up for grabs. And it didn't really happen, or it hasn't really happened for Barkas.
But do you not need 2 top keepers, to be fair?
Funnily enough, I was at a gig last night, and that was the first question. You probably do. You probably do. But then the argument is maybe Craig Gordon wanted to leave because he's at an age where he wants to play. He doesn't want to sit on the bench.
And also his injury period, a few years ago when he was out.
So I think David Marshall, would he want to come and be an understudy to Joe Hart now? Possibly not. You know, he wants to probably go somewhere where he'll play.
Cowdenbeath 1 up on Stirling Albion. Fraser Mullen, the scorer. That said, though, you know, there's no guarantees. He is a top-class keeper. So too is Joe Hart. But he has his moments, and we're not wishing ill on Joe Hart. Far from it. We wouldn't to anybody in the Premiership. But my view is they should have 2 top-class keepers. I mean, Rangers have got an international keeper in John McLaughlin, and the former international is looked almost like goal number 2 coming up there, but it's still just 1-0 Rangers. You know, I think there's an argument to say 2 top-class keepers.
I think especially when you've got that amount of games at Celtic and Rangers, you need 2 top-class, because if one obviously gets injured, suspended, whatever it is, you definitely need it. So I do firmly believe in what you're saying there. I cannot believe, sorry, I'm going to have to
go for it. What's happening at Ibrox? Tell us.
Down the right-hand side, Hadji, a little bit of magic, puts the ball across the face, it ricochets up into the air, Arfield in the box as he always is, and he volleys it. And it goes through the keeper's legs, hits his back of his leg, hits off the post and comes back out. He cannot believe it, just to look at his face there. But it's great build-up play again from the left-hand side all the way to the right. And it's just showing you another replay of another instance just before. So Rangers knocking at the door.
They were knocking the ball about inside the 18-yard box there for a period of time, and it's fell, and Arfield's just There's another shot just wide, but yeah, they've started this second half much like the first, right on the front foot. And
Bassey that time. Yeah,
Arfield can consider himself really unlucky. It's just as Chris said, hit the post off the heel, I think, of the goalie.
I have noticed though, they do build up the play from the full back backing the play up and giving it to the wider player, who's then in the box driving at the defender, rather than Tavernier overlapping and getting crosses in, which then obviously makes it a little bit better for the wider player because he's got a 1v1 situation to put it across the face of goal. But Rangers are relentless at this moment in time. It's so difficult at 1-0. It's horrible situation sometimes where you go in at half time and you kind of take your foot off the gas, another team come onto it, but it's not happened. So whatever Giovanni Van Bronckhorst has said at half time, Paul, it's definitely worked.
Shot there by Morelos.
Great shots there. Again, Morelos and a little slip by Hadji inside the box. Again, the amount of shots they've had inside the box is incredible. I think Morelos could have had a hat-trick already and he's not scored. So he smashes it near post, probably a good height for the goalkeeper, and it went out for a corner kick. But 50 minutes gone and I can't see anything other than another goal for Rangers here, because Dundee haven't threatened McGregor at all.
And the near 50,000 will be looking for goal number 2 as Chris Burke and Simon Donnelly, Paul Cooney here watching it and bringing it to you via Rangers TV there. It's the Go Radio Football Show with the Taxi Centre. 8 minutes past 4, Saturday afternoon. There's Charlie Adam, former Rangers favourite, just sweeps it out to the left, but I was going to say he always strikes it really well. That didn't reach anyone. It's a throw in. That's most unusual because he's got one left foot, hasn't he?
I've played with Charlie, and that's one thing he's really good at. See, when he gets into that number, I'm going to say cam position for you there, Simon, where it's a deeper midfielder role when he has a lot of space, and he's great at that diagonal switch or playing the ball over the top for a runner. But sometimes you just get it wrong, especially when you've been chasing bodies for the last 51 minutes. It was just a little bit of tired swing at it. But if he gets similar positions, Rangers need to watch, because at any moment he can open up spaces.
There's just one goal in it. And just looking elsewhere, Aberdeen are still 3-1 up on St Mirren. Aberdeen scored the first goal of the afternoon, but I'm just watching again. It's Fashion Sakala into the edge of the box, tries the shot, and it's all just over the top. A great save there by Legsdons. Just over the
a
back.
Great save.
He's on fire.
Yeah, how do we pronounce this? Legsdons. Chris highlighted him at half time. He's been Dundee's star man. That's another fantastic save. He's just got his hand to it, because that's getting in the top corner.
What a save.
Fashion Sakala's probably wondering, 52 minutes on the clock, how have I not scored this afternoon? But
I know.
The guy in goals, Legsons, has performed another great save there.
Almost
as good as the one, if not better, in the first half.
Yeah, I think that's better because he sees it late. Sakala running inside, and it's closer to him as well because he's inside the box. He shoots, into the far top.
Thinking for this period being a Dundee player, 7 minutes, they've hardly been out their own final third there. They're just defending relentlessly here. It's hard work. Here they come again, Rangers.
As you see again there, Tavernier running inside and then passing it wide. Usually when the Steven Gerrard era, he would pass it inside and running it outside. It's the total opposite now. It's flipped. As you see then, obviously the Aribo can run in the outside, that opposite, that far midfielder running in the outside, as Aribo did put the ball in the box. But you're right, Simon, Rangers have been terrific this for 52 minutes, if I'm honest. You wouldn't argue the point if they were 4 or 5 up now.
No. The fans will be enjoying it, but they want another goal.
Well, we talked about it with Celtic during the week. As long as it's 1-0, you never know, something can happen.
Equaliser for Clyde, and it is who else?
Again. Yeah, David Goodwillie. We had him at Dundee United. He seems to have been at Clyde forever and keeps notching goals. So that's him got Clyde back on level pegging.
Charlie Adam is going off and coming on. Lee Griffith is coming on. So Dundee kind of going for it. I suppose with Charlie Adams, he's played 54 minutes.
Yeah. It's just probably a tactical change, if I'm honest. James McPake's probably thinking to himself, 1-0, I've got a chance. Maybe I need to start getting up the pitch a little bit, and hopefully with the likes of Lee Griffiths, he can do something and hold the play up and try and relieve some pressure from the goalkeeper and the defensive line and the defensive midfielders, because it's been a tiresome 53 minutes on that.
I think it's definitely a tale of the left pegs with those two. Who's got the best, Griffiths or Adam? But the problem being for Lee Griffiths at the moment will be Dundee have not really been anywhere round about Rangers' final third there to get a shot away. So that'll be That'll be the test for Dundee to get out this half at the moment.
Alloa have gone 1 up at East Fife. Ewan Henderson, the scorer there, so that's good news for Barry Ferguson, who'll be with us on Monday night. Blackburn are 1 up on Preston. Just looking at any other goals coming in.
It's his 7th goal of the season, Ewan Henderson.
Oh,
On fire for Alloa.
He's been great on loan.
I was just thinking, there's a good Willie. He's been terrific for Clyde, hasn't he? He's always scored goals, always double figures. And the team sits second bottom, and he's got 12 goals. Imagine what they could be without him, as we have a goal.
Goal
for
flash.
Rangers. On you go, Simon.
I missed it. I was too busy listening to your story about Good Willie.
It's a goal for Rangers. 2-0 Rangers, 55 minutes.
It's an own goal.
Yep.
I think it's an own goal. It was a cross from the left,
replay.
as we'll see it here.
Yep.
You know, Barisic again giving it to Aribo, who's running to cross the ball. And I don't know who it is. Let me see the ball. A great ball across the face. And it's a horrible one for the defender. Do you clear it, or do you let it run past you and just usher it out? But you don't know who's behind you. And it's Sweeney with the own goal. He sticks out a leg, and that's it's going to be maybe a long, probably 25 minutes.
Yeah, because it was all one-way traffic there for the 10 minutes there, just after half-time, put under severe pressure, and it's taken its toll. You know, Sweeney, I think he just tries to slide in and block it. It's one of the ones, as you say.
Yeah, maybe he could have been a step closer to the goalkeeper, then he doesn't need to slide, you know, and he can clear it back where it came from.
Well, that's his weekend gone, isn't it? It must be horrible. An own goal. But
what do you do now? What do you do now, Paul? Like,
yep.
obviously,
put Griffiths on.
Pake's made a tactical switch where he's played 2 up top. But what it does, it just opens more space in the middle of the park. And Rangers are so strong in that middle of the park with the free and the rotation that they have. But they're going to have a go now, Dundee, as they've actually went up the park and put a cross in. And they're in Rangers' final third here, try to probably get a quick reaction. Ball down the left-hand side again, and the cross comes in. But McGregor, you know, handles it well, and Rangers will probably start another attack.
So Rangers on course to go further ahead at the top of the table. They'll be on 39 points at 10-5. Celtic on 32. They play Dundee United tomorrow at the lunchtime, the early kick-off, and you've also got Villa against Leicester and others tomorrow as well. Hearts on 27 points, Dundee United 25, Motherwell on 24. They're a goal down at Easter Road, so just that one goal in it. We expected goals. Simon thought it was going to be a Hibs win. I see an altercation there. I see Lee Griffiths involved in it. Who's the Rangers player? Referee is up there. We'll see. Morelos is speaking to as well.
Morelos.
Surprise. We'll see it again if they show us. It's Griffiths actually saying to the referee he's not happy. As Rangers have gone 2 up a few moments ago. Ryan Sweeney own goal. Joe Aribo scoring midway through the first half as the yellow card comes out for Griffiths. And well, Joe Aribo's on the deck. Don't know what's happened, but yellow card for Lee Griffiths. He's been on, and there's Morelos came forward right in front of the referee.
It's a bit nasty that from Morelos. You know, he needs to watch what he's doing. You know, he lives on edge a little bit, as does Griffiths, and you know he's put his finger right in front of Griffiths and pushed him with it. A little bit naughty there, and I think he's going to get a booking. But you know, you need to watch what you're doing because it would be easy enough to get a red card for that because he's raised his hand, hasn't he? I don't know why Griffiths.
What did Griffiths do initially?
I think maybe Griffiths fouled Aribo,
right.
and he's got a booking for that because Aribo wasn't happy with Griffiths, but Morelos went over to try and, you know, protect his teammate maybe a little bit too much. But sometimes I just don't know. Do you take that away from Morelos? Then do you take a part of his game away? Because it's just trying to manage that, isn't it?
I always kind of put myself in Stevie Gerrard's shoes as a manager or a coach. He must have been tearing his hair out at times with Morelos over the. Remember the period when he was red cards and petulant, and you're thinking he always becomes a liability. I know he scored a lot of goals for Rangers, but concentrate on that side of your game. See when the kind of petulant side comes in, it's detrimental to your team.
And if you were playing against them, you'd play on that, wouldn't you?
Of course you would. Yeah. Of course you would. You've seen players over the years do it with them. But Stevie Gerrard at times over the years, I must have watched thinking, what is he doing? You know, it's we talk about Bassey there and players that are good to manage, but I think you'd have your work cut out 24/7 with Morelos, and then it's down to whether he's worth it. You know, when he's scoring goals, he certainly is, but that other wee side to him.
I just think Morelos probably needs to play in the edge to play better. I think when he's angrier, he plays better. So I think he's doing that, and I wouldn't be surprised if he scores now.
Okay.
Just because he needs that little bit of adrenaline rush just to keep him going again. And he might just say to the Dundee lot, well, I'm going to score now. So
The Blues have scored, the Birmingham Blues, and it's Troy Deeney, the former Watford man, has scored. So they're just 2-1 now. Millwall 2, Birmingham 1. Not nearly so many goals this afternoon in the second half. In Scotland, no change at Pittodrie, so it looks as though, but still, 20 minutes to go, 25 minutes maybe. Aberdeen are 3-1 up in St Mirren. Hibs still just that Kevin Nisbet goal up on Motherwell. And Rangers 2, Dundee 0. And actually very few goals. Nothing has happened at all. There's only that one goal in the Championship. Morton against Ayr United. There's nada. There's nothing else. So far so good.
He's quite happy with the results in the Championship.
I'm happy with that, Paul.
You've got good travelling support as well, haven't you? I know you've got about maybe 4,500 at home and away. Quite a few hundreds.
Last night, even though the performance wasn't there and the result wasn't there, they were just as loud, if not even louder than Inverness support. So
what did you think when that game got changed to the TV on a Friday night? We thought, oh God, I've got to go up.
Yeah, I was thinking, I think because it was my birthday as well. I was thinking, I'm going to have to travel up my birthday,
of course.
And you know what it's like when you're at a football club now, Paul. You have to buy the cakes and buy the biscuits when it's your birthday, don't you?
It's expensive.
Is that what happens?
It's an expensive one,
Okay.
So you have to spend about £20-30 and get cakes in and biscuits. So
where did you get the cakes?
I got the cakes from my local bakery. And I actually got, am I allowed to name supermarkets? I got it from actually B&M, I think, B&M.
Okay,
because they have a great selection of just old school sweeties. So I was buying old school sweeties.
Oh, brilliant. Accies have scored. Dunfermline are a goal down. Hamilton 1, Dunfermline 0. David Moyo, the scorer. Dunfermline down to 10 men. Dorrans has been sent off. So it's a penalty. So obviously there's been a penalty incident. Moyle scoring there for Hamilton. John Hughes.
Hamilton need that one as well.
Big time, don't they?
You know, they've not had a great run of form. We actually
lost in the cup.
We beat them in the cup.
Yeah,
we beat them. We beat Hamilton in the cup just the other week there. We scored late on to equalise, and then we scored really late on to get the winner. Because it was going to go to penalties, because it goes straight to penalties.
Of course, straight to it.
Yeah,
so you were reprieved.
Yes. Yeah. So
Forfar have gone 2 up at Albion Rovers. Sorry to jump in there. And a substitution for Dundee. Just going to make a change as you've spotted Hibs. Motherwell have equalised. Guess who it is? Who scored for Motherwell?
Tony Watt, man of the moment, scores a fantastic goal during the week, and he's popped up on the hour mark to make it 1-1. So maybe our prediction of goals in that game will prove to be the case. We've got 30 minutes left, but a great record he's on at the moment, or a great run rather, scoring another goal. I think that takes him top goal scorer.
Top goal scorer.
Yes, that's right. One ahead of Kyogo. As Rangers, there was a chance there for Dundee. Jason Cummings has come on just a moment ago, and Dundee, they're 2 down, but they're very close just there. We're going to take a very quick break, and then we're back in a moment.
The Go Radio Football Show with the Taxi Centre. Save on your new taxi with exclusive discounts across Skoda, Toyota, Ford, Seat and more.
Let's go.
Quite hot afternoon here on the Go Radio Football Show with the Taxi Centre. Rangers are 2 up in Dundee. Dundee are having a go in the final 20 minutes as Queen's Park go 3 up on Falkirk. Liam Brown. So Queen's Park look as though they're getting their first win in a few weeks in the league. Queen's Park 3, Falkirk 0. Yanis Hadji going off there for Rangers. We'll update in a moment or two. And Scott Wright has come on, the former Aberdeen man. Elsewhere, Hibs and Motherwell now 1-1, as we told you a few moments ago. So very much game on there in Leith. And Aberdeen still 3-1 up on St Mirren. Scott Wright coming on for Yanis Hadji, former Rangers star Chris Burke, and current Kilmarnock winger and legend. We're officially describing you as legend, Chris. What about Scott Wright?
Yeah.
We see him now.
He just came on there and very positive. I didn't realise he was that quick.
Yeah.
He's actually turned the midfielder inside and then ran at the left back and absolutely beat him by pace down the line. But he actually fell and tripped by just at the end there, and unfortunate not to put the ball across the face. But very positive play from Wright, just coming on for Hadji there.
You like him, Simon? Scott Wright?
Yeah, I do. Yeah. I do. I think he's lively. I think Stevie Gerrard brought him in obviously from Aberdeen, and it's hard coming from a club there to try and shift the strikers ahead of you. But yeah, every time I see him, I think he has got that turn of pace. Quite exciting, quite positive. Just ran out of ground there really and slipped, I think, maybe with the surface. But yeah, a decent player, and again, one of these ones who'll have to find the challenge with every player that Rangers go and sign. Rangers will always look to bring in attacking players in his position, and that's the fight he'll have season in, season out.
You're right, I like Scott Wright. I think he's very lively. I think obviously he's still got a lot to learn in the wide areas, but it might actually suit him with Giovanni Van Bronckhorst coming in, because he prefers to be on the wing. With Steven Gerrard, their style of play, you know, the wide players were more inside and they had to build up the play little short passes, little combinations. When I just think Scott Wright is more direct player, where he likes to just run at the defenders like we just seen there and get the ball into the box or have a shot. So you might see, you know, Scott Wright flourish under Giovanni Van Bronckhorst.
Very good player. We'll keep you up to date throughout the afternoon. What's happening right across the country? Not so many goals down south.
It's a great result for Queen's Park if that
Isn't
is,
it?
because they could end up finish. I think they'll be third place after being fifth place, I think. But they're sitting.
Did you say you were impressed with them? You played them last week?
I played against them last week, and they were very at Firhill, and they played out from the back.
Yeah.
They had a structure, a couple of good players. I think they've got somebody in loan from Celtic or Rangers there that looked very good. I can't remember his name, but he was a midfielder. Very good player, young. But no, they were good. I thought they tried to play the right way.
Yeah.
If I'm honest.
Rangers coming forward again as 4-0 Queen's Park, and
we just speak
Luca
about it, and do you know what?
They're
That's
certainly
the player
playing the
there.
right way today.
It's
4-0.
Luca Connell.
Let's rewind that bit. Who are you most
listen,
impressed with?
Luca Connell.
Yeah.
I know the
I think it's
company look
Rangers.
after this kid when he went to Celtic. Yeah, it's Luca Connell, and I think he was loaned out there last year. So yeah, fantastic. 4-0. They're certainly playing the right way today.
Is that the points we can give it to?
I think we should
Looks
give
like
them
it,
the
doesn't
points,
it?
you know.
We've played what?
You know, and that
Funny
was-
how he just popped up with the goal. You couldn't quite
yeah.
get his name
I
there,
know,
and then
well, it just helped me out, didn't it? But no, that's fifth against fourth. You know, in Queen's Park, I've put a little bit of a distance there now between them and Falkirk, and they'll probably leapfrog Montrose, I think, depending on the Montrose result, by 1 point, and create a little bit of a closer gap between Airdrie and Cove, who Airdrie have done fantastic,
Haven't they?
I know Cove are top, but they're only 2 points behind Cove.
Everyone's beaten everyone in that league, aren't they? It's really, really tight, as is the Championship. And actually, in the Premiership as well, Rangers will go on to 39 points, Celtic on 32, but a game in hand. Hearts on 27, Dundee United 25, Motherwell on 24. Well, we'll see what happens. Hibs on 18, but as you rightly pointed out, 2 games in hand. They could suddenly be back in challenging, certainly for that European position. So Dundee were having a go a few moments ago, Simon, but is it the game now? Is it going to be game management by Rangers? Only 20 minutes remaining?
it's a strange old game at times. Rangers were, it was one-way traffic until they got to 2-0. Griffiths has come on, I think Cummins has come on, and I don't know if it's just human nature, but they seem to be having a go now. They obviously haven't got back into the game in terms of a goal, but there's been a lot more of the play in Rangers' half. Well, begs the question sometimes, you know, should you approach the game for the start that way? Who knows? But here come Rangers on the attack again with Sakala.
Yeah.
Edge of the box, and he's tackled, but he's still in possession and plays it to Scott Arfield.
The game's beginning to be really open. I wouldn't be surprised if somebody scores. As
Maybe
Morelos
Morelos scores. And Morelos scores. It's 3-0 Rangers. You said it a few minutes ago, 5 minutes ago. He was booked maybe 10 minutes ago. And he's come through. And Morelos scores for Rangers in the 70th minute.
It's a typical Morelos goal, you know. A Sakala driving at the defence again, which has happened all day, Paul, in the 7th minute drive. And he plays a pass inside to Arfield, who Arfield looks to play a 1-2 with Morelos, who's in the centre of the box. But he fights his way through two defenders.
He bulldozers his way through there, but if I'm the manager of Dundee, I'm thinking, but my centre backs, Fontaine stops this initial one for Sakala. Arfield plays it, he's almost looking for a 1-2.
And then he's just bodies round Morelos, and Morelos still ends up with the ball,
pushes him out of the way,
and passes it into the net, you know, and that's about 5 yards out. They just couldn't get the ball cleared. So 3-0, that's the game done. And I think, Simon, it's either me or you that looks as if it's going to win
You said
the,
four,
the
didn't
choice.
you?
I
Well,
said
I
four,
think
you
with
said
20
three.
minutes left, I think it's.
Or we could both be wrong. It could be 5, or it
Well,
could be
exactly.
3-3.
Yeah.
We never know.
The strength of the bull there, wasn't it?
Yeah, it
Morelos.
was. That's just the typical goal. That's what he's great at. He just loves scoring goals.
And you like these days when he's out and he does something daft. It wasn't too daft, but he got himself involved in something. There's no point. Aribo was there was quite rightly a booking given to Lee Griffiths.
But the thing
Why
is,
did he get involved?
Paul, I don't know though. You can say that, right? But when was the last time he got sent off? He did learn his lesson. He was getting sent off a lot, and then it kind of stopped. I think last season, I don't even know if he did get sent off.
Christian Ramirez has scored again, so it's not good news for Paisley. It's big news for the Dons. Aberdeen 4, St Mirren 1. Christian Ramirez, how many goals?
That's 8 goals.
8 goals. Woof.
That's a
good return.
It's a great return for someone.
Just behind Tony
comprehensive.
Watt.
You know, they blew St Mirren away in the initial moments of the game. St Mirren gave themselves a wee bit of hope before half time as Rangers bore in and goal again here.
They're going for the jugular, aren't they? They're just looking to score.
Yeah, that's a great result so far this afternoon for Aberdeen.
Yeah, that's a terrific. I think that sounds and looks as if Jim Goodwin's just went for all or nothing there. You know, whether he's changed formation, put more forwards on the pitch, because in Aberdeen have done them in the counter attack, because there's another 20 minutes to go. So I don't know if you're better shutting up shop, keeping the goal difference down.
Yeah. But they want to really thrash them, don't they? And take the points big time this afternoon. So Rangers 3, Dundee 0. 17 minutes left and a corner kick comes into the edge of the box. Connor Golson's there. Referee spotted something as the ball goes into the back of the net, but it'll be pulled back there. Thanks for the call there, Stephen. We're live here on Go Radio. Saturday afternoon, Paul Cooney, Simon Donnelly, Chris Burke. And Rangers will take the points. Aberdeen will take the points as well, with their 4-1 up at the moment against St
Aberdeen
Mirren.
were getting a lot of stick as well, weren't they? Look, and they've just came back now. They were sitting 7th, you know, competing with Hibs. Obviously, Hibs have looked as if, what's the score in that game? Is it 1-1?
1-1.
1-1.
Hibs won Motherwell 1.
Aberdeen are going to leapfrog Hibs and get it back in the top 6. We have a positive performance and result today. It looks like it, but Hibs have they 2 games in hand, so it just looks as if that, you know, from, I would say, you know, 5 and 6 looks as if it's there for the taking, if I'm honest, Paul, the way it looks like now, and maybe Dundee United as well. You know, Hearts look for the team to me that looks as if they're going to finish third so far.
United have equalised at Morton. Stephen Bradley has scored as Albion Rovers have equalised against Forfar. So 2-2 and 1-1. As there's a change at Rangers, Glenn Kamara has just gone off. We'll tell you who has come on in just a moment or two, but there's a change there. But Rangers
it's
taking
Ryan
the
Jack.
points. That's great news for the Rangers fans.
Great news, yeah. So he's got a little appearance now. I think he only made 2 substitute appearances so far this season. This is his 3rd, and it's great to see Ryan Jack after 8 months of being out. He was a very important player for Steven Gerrard and their success of, you know, doing ever so well for Rangers, and he's a quality player, and it's a great news for Rangers, but it's also great news for Scotland. Hopefully he stays fit and he pushes himself into that team.
Yeah, it'd be great to see him back, as you say, for Rangers and for Scotland. In England, Newcastle still 1 up on Burnley, and Liverpool still no change at Molineux.
Yeah, still 0-0. Obviously finding it tough this afternoon, Liverpool, and Man City playing tomorrow will be looking on keenly. You know, if Liverpool drop points, Chelsea already get beat earlier on, so it could be a good afternoon for the Man City.
Well,
absolutely.
Wales are doing well. Wales are
they
sitting
are,
8th, and they've got the same amount of points as Manchester United.
I only predict it because of just Liverpool have been on an unbelievable run.
And you would think as well with is it Santos going from Wales, a new manager coming in, it would kind of take a dip. It hasn't at all.
No.
So that new manager's done so well with that group to keep them alive and keep them doing well, and they're sitting now 8th and comfortable and holding off arguably the best team at attacking teams. So it's at 0-0 just now, but you just never know, do you?
Borna Barisic took a heavy tackle there, but I think he's back up on his feet with 15 minutes remaining. Rangers 3, Dundee 0. Aberdeen 4-1 up now against against St Mirren. That's tough for Jim Goodwin. Long journey back. You had to do it the other night from Inverness the other night. Simon coming back from the Dons. 4-1.
Yeah,
what do you do? What do you say?
Well, it's just it's his job now to try and pick them up. I'm not sure who their next game will be against. They're still sitting reasonably comfortable in the league. Dundee below them today are going to get beat, and St Johnstone didn't play. But yeah, Jim's did a good job there. I think we touched on it earlier in the show. I think he needs to just start turning a couple of the draws into wins. You know, with it being 3 points it's a big difference between a draw and a win, obviously. But this afternoon they've been second best by the looks of things. 2-0 down after 10 minutes is never ideal. You've travelled all the way up there, you're prepared for the game. It's a tough place, and you're 2-0 down after 10 minutes.
I think James McPake was showing a yellow card a few moments ago. He was.
I think he was complaining about it was a penalty.
Right.
I just I'm not good with obviously what he was saying, but it sounded if he was saying it was a penalty. I didn't really know what he was talking about. I'll have to look back at that, but yeah, he's been booked for his words to the referee or to the fourth official.
Okay, yeah, you spotted something, Simon?
Yeah, is the Man City game the late kick-off? I thought they were playing tomorrow. Is it the late kick-off possibly? Yeah, sure. 5 p.m.
Yeah, 5 o'clock tonight. Yep.
Yes, I'm just correcting myself.
It's
a great incentive
for Man City.
If they've dropped points, they'll go into that game, hoping to capitalise.
You just don't know what the Man City team will be.
Alloa are down to 10 men. Craig Howie has been sent off, a second bookable offence as Queen's Park go 5 up on Falkirk. And it's Charlie Fox.
Some result for Queen's Park.
Hey, what about Barry? What will he be saying there? That's 15 minutes to go, and they're down to 10 men again.
Yeah, but they're winning.
Yeah, they are. They're just 1 goal up at East Fife. Yep.
As long as they hold fort.
Okay.
Defend as a team.
Craig Howie will be hoping that they hold fort. The wrath of Barry Ferguson.
Indeed, he was some competitive. You two had some great battles, didn't you?
Yeah,
both great
I actually played one time against him. It was a 0-0 at Ibrox, and I was put in an unusual role against him to try and stop him playing. And anybody that's seen me in my career knows that I couldn't tackle. So, but I think we kind of nullified each other out that day. Yeah. I think it was 0-0 if I remember.
Was it a hard shift? Covered.
It was. He was a great player.
Oh, he's magnificent.
A lot younger than me as well. But no, he was a fantastic footballer. So to try and follow him all over the pitch at Ibrox, I certainly slept that night.
Yeah. At Rangers, 3 up. 78 minutes gone. Is that going to be?
I think
change.
Sakala's been terrific. I know we keep talking about him, but he's been the man of the match so far. He's been terrific. He's constantly running at the fullback. He'll be sleeping the night time. I don't know about you.
Is that a new strike partnership? Maybe Morelos along with Sakala.
Yeah, well, Sakala is the thing. He can play on the side of the pitch, and it's something that you try and get your main goal scorers on the pitch to try and win the game. The likes of Roof, Morelos and Sakala, can you get them all on the pitch, but then who misses out? Because then you've got Kent that might miss out, you've got Hadji, but
he'll be itching for a goal after the performance that he's put in today.
United have gone 2-1 up at Morton, so a bit of a turnaround. Tommy Adeloy scoring in 77 minutes. So as Rangers come forward again and win another corner on Saturday afternoon with the Go Radio football show with the Taxi Centre. Let's see what happens here.
Well, believe it or not, Rangers' home record isn't as good as their away record. This is, in 7 games before this game, they'd only picked up 15 points. On away, they played 8 games and picked up 21 points. So the home form wasn't as great as it was away, but they've rectified that today with a 3 or even more result. Where you just get a header in there by Morelos. A great ball in by Tavernier, a great delivery from the corner. Morelos headers it into the top corner, but that's what happens when you've got a man in the back post or on the post. Sometimes you don't see that anymore.
Yep, so it was headed away.
Yeah, Castelli at the back post there, just in the right place because that is creeping in.
Yeah, it's getting in. If he's not there, that's a goal. Yep. So he's done his job well.
Certainly did. We'll lash your man of the match maybe in about 5 minutes or so. Because
hopefully Sakala gets a goal, Paul. It'd be nice. You're right.
He deserves
it.
Really
doesn't
nice.
He really deserves a goal for his performance today. Obviously, he's playing maybe out of position a little bit. He likes to play in through the middle, but he's done his job today for sure.
Simon, you've spotted a familiar name scoring in England.
Familiar name, but I didn't even know he was here. Adam Rooney at Solihull Moors, who's a team I know well from my time at York down south. But Adam Rooney, he's been about the houses.
I'm good friends with Adam Rooney because I played with him at Birmingham.
Was he at Salford before?
Yeah, he was at Salford, and then he went to Solihull Moors, a big signing for Solihull Moors, and he actually was
penalty there.
He was injured for a long time, out injured, but he's a really, really good striker, penalty box striker, and good at penalties, and you could see that there.
Newcastle still 1 up in their match. Southampton 1 up, and Wolves and Liverpool 0-0. Sorry to jump in there, Chris, just at that point.
Talk rubbish anyway, Paul.
Not at all. No, far from it. So, 8 minutes to go. No, I'm thinking about Hibs Motherwell. I'll let you watch Rangers to see if Sakala can score. You said 4-0 anyway. Simon said 3. So Simon Donnelly ahead at the moment, but it's Rangers coming down the left but playing all the way back to Joe Aribo. I'm going to ask you soon who your man of the match is in the next few minutes. I think if Sakala scores you might say Sakala, but it might not be possible if you score 3 goals and you're a striker and you haven't got one of them. Could you be man of the match? I guess you could.
I think performance is more important for me. If you tell it's all about the performance and what you deliver for the team, it doesn't matter who scores. I know you always want to score, and Simon will probably maybe argue that point, but if you keep playing like that week in, week out, you'll definitely get goals. He's hit the target.
Been a real threat this afternoon. Everything good about Rangers. You know, he set the tone early on. I think he had 2 or 3 efforts in the first 20 minutes, driving at defences, forcing them to defend. He should have had a goal by now. You know, he was a wee bit erratic with his first effort, and the keeper made a great save from his second. But yeah, it's about performance. Quite rightly, it's performance. I think he's been, although I'll allow Chris to get the MOM, but I think he's one of the top players.
I'm going to ask both of you for the MOM. I can tell you Forfar are back on top at Albion Rovers. It's 3-2 to Forfar, and East Fife have equalised against 10-man Alloa. Jamie Semple scoring in 70 minutes. You can hear the collective Ferguson family and wider.
Don't lose now. You know,
don't lose, of course.
Take the point. You know, especially when you're a man down. As much as you would love to get the 3 points, and you were ahead for so long,
into the final straight.
You have to make sure that you level yourself off. You get the emotions down, and if they've scored, they've scored. Just don't concede another.
Keep the heat.
The Go Radio Football Show with the TaxiCentre.com. Your exclusive taxi trade savings are waiting on you.
Let's go.
5 minutes to go at Ibrox. Rangers are still 3 up on Dundee, but they've got a corner kick. Motherwell are still 1-1 at Hibs, and Aberdeen are taking the points 4-1 against St Mirren. Morton have equalised. It's 2-2 there, along with Ayr United, as Rangers the corner kick comes in, but too high, too heavy. But Rangers still in possession. Chris Burke.
Yeah, they are. And Bakuna's come on for Joe Aribo, who hasn't featured a lot. And Giovanni Van Bronckhorst gave him game time now to see how he can play with the game at 3-0.
Who's your man of the match, Chris?
Well, I think you know my man of the match. It's Fashion Sakala for me. He's been terrific. He started, the play for Rangers. He was terrific from minute 1 to minute 85. Now he's been immense. You know, he's been a constant threat going forward, and I know he's not got his goal today so far, but to me, it's like scoring a goal with his performance.
Queen's Park 6, Falkirk 0. Simon, your man of the match for Rangers.
Yeah, I
Dundee?
would go alongside Burkey. Sakala really started the set the tone at the start of the game. First 25 minutes, you know, a lot of efforts on goal. Keepers actually denied him from scoring today. It was a fantastic save in the first half. A wee bit erratic with his first effort on goal, but yeah, I think he takes my man of the match as well.
My second man of the match is actually Dundee goalkeeper.
Yeah, elections. He has been terrific, hasn't he? This could have been much more.
A 3-0 defeat, but he's been terrific. If I'm honest, he's kept it at 3-0.
Big goal for Cove Rangers 2, Dumbarton 0. Ian Vigers the scorer there. That is some division as well. In your own championship, where hopefully you're just there for one season, Arbroath and Wraith Rovers still 0-0. Nice. Hamilton still 1 up on Dunfermline, 10-man Dunfermline. Morton and Ayr 2-2, and Queen of the South Partick Thistle
0-0.
Still 0-0. Yep.
Hopefully it remains that way, Paul.
Yep. It's Desmond is 2-2. Clyde and Peterhead. Cove Rangers we just mentioned a moment or two ago, so 2 up, keeping the scoreboard right up to date here on the Go Radio Football Show. East Fife and Alloa 1-1, 10-man Alloa, and Queen's Park 6 against Paul Sheeran's Falkirk 0.
Incredible result for Queen's Park this afternoon.
Massive.
Yeah. Alloa could have leapfrogged Falkirk as well into 5th place. But obviously they've conceded Alloa to make it 1-1, but they have, gained a little point on Falkirk.
He's smiling there. Is it the Rangers TV man of the match?
Yeah, they've give it to Aribo. What do they know?
No, they don't.
What do they know?
What does Craig Moore know?
What is he talking about?
We see him next
Craig
week.
and Neil McCann.
Aribo has been good as well, and I think Arfield's been really good as well. But for me, I would have gave it to Fashion Sakala. He's not playing his natural position. I know he can play in the left and play in the right, but his main position was bought to be obviously a vocal striker, and he's done it ever so well. So Aribo, yeah, he was good, but for me it was Fashion Sakala.
Oh my God, with the corner for Dundee, but again it's a bit high, just too much on it. And looking down south, Newcastle then, in that Callum Wilson goal in 40 minutes is the only goal so far as we get towards the end of the game. They're 1 up on Burnley, and Wolves 0, Liverpool 0. It's Watford against Man City. Is that 5:30? You'll see that
I think
this
it's
evening when you
5:30, yep.
be on tonight.
Yeah, I'll watch that. Yeah, my youngest is a Man City supporter.
Right, yeah.
That's his English team. So
Phil Foden's that his favourite, or trying to
possibly.
think?
He used to love Aguero, obviously, before he moved on. But he's. I don't know why he ended up with Man City as his English team, but he's quite loyal to them.
Did he not go to that trip?
He went down to the trip. Was your boy there?
Yeah.
Aye,
I
they
hear it's
loved it.
magnificent. Yeah,
They loved it.
Yeah,
They all went down to the game last week. And fortunately it wasn't snowed off, because I've seen some of the pictures.
I know.
Half time I think they had to.
Well, it was the Burnley game that got cancelled, if you remember.
That's right.
And they're halfway in the bus, and I was thinking, is that Man City game going to get cancelled? So what happened, Paul, is at the school, there was a school trip. Nowadays, a school trip, you get to go to a Man City game.
Wow.
When did that ever happen?
I was killing Castle in my day. I was talking about it.
That's right. Yeah.
But it was a game that they seen goals. I think they won the game easy and comfortably. But you know, Man City, it's a great place. I went as well. You know, they've got.
I've never been. I've not been to it.
They've got a lot of activities before the game and stuff. You can play little five-a-side. You know, you get your photo took. There's a stage there where there's ex-players. You know, they have a question and answer. You get people on their iPads taking pictures with back screens of the stadium and stuff.
A lot going on then.
A lot
for
going
the
on.
fans. Good.
Very family orientated.
There's no more goals at the moment. You're missing nothing. Rangers are 3 up in Dundee. Aribo, a Sweeney own goal, and Morelos. West Ham beat Chelsea 3-2 earlier. Aberdeen are beating St Mirren 4-1 as we go into injury time. And it's at Easter Road.
Would you say that's game of the day then?
Hibs 1,
Aberdeen,
Motherwell
St
1.
Mirren?
Scoreline of the day?
Yeah,
I would
scoreline of
think
the day.
so, isn't it? Stephen Glass will think it will be, as Queen of the South, Partick Thistle ends 0-0 full time.
Like
Chris
it.
smiles.
I do smile, yeah. I'll let you talk about that.
no,
No, I'm happy with that. Do you know what? It's a hard place to go to, Queen of the South,
Is
as
it
much as
Palmerston?
our bottom. We scored at the very end. We won 1-0 over at Queen of the South. You know, as much as we talk about AstroTurf surfaces, it's not that great. As Dundee have a shot. Oh my goodness.
And that was a comedy of errors. It
Yes.
almost went in, came off the post, came off the keeper, Alan McGregor, but went past the post.
Yeah,
So,
Cummins has a
yeah.
snap. It's a long throw into the box. It gets cleared, and it comes to the edge of the box, just inside actually. And it's Griffiths.
on
It
his
has a
right foot.
snapshot with his right foot. It hits off the post, comes back off McGregor, and nearly goes in the net and goes out for a corner. So Giovanni Van Bronckhorst is keeping the 0 still.
Indeed. Alan McGregor would have been raging if that was a goal there for Lee Griffiths. Dundee. Stranraer have taken the points at Stenhousemuir. 4-1 win for them. So Simon Donnelly's getting the full score here for us. It's okay, I've got them here. Blackpool, you've lost 3-0.
I didn't play for
To
Blackpool.
Luton. No, you didn't. No, it was Birmingham you played against them. Yeah.
But that's a great result for Luton to go away to Blackpool and get that result. 3-0. Terrific result. Andy Walker would have a lot to talk about in that
He
game,
would
which is
indeed.
good.
2 minutes.
You've seen goals there, he's there, as he was on the TV.
Andy had a busy week, but we're just watching the dying moments there. We're watching for something from Easter Road. Could there be a late goal? I mean, who knows?
Possibly,
we'll tell
but
you.
I think we more or less said that was going to be quite a tight one. I think we both went for him shading it, but it looks as if they're going to share the spoils.
As Sakala get put in there by Morelos, it was a great forward run with Arfield, played into him, laid it off to Morelos. It was an up, back and through. The ball's through to Sakala. He runs down the left hand side and tries to beat Legdons again, and he beats him. Obviously, he beats Sakala with the save, and it hits back off him and goes out for a by kick. But you can see his frustration there. Sakala, he's had a few chances and he's just a bit
the
disappointed.
frustration's boiled over, just having a go at himself there. But I think he can be happy with his performance today. He's been a team player today, you know, and he's been a big part in their victory.
Aberdeen 4, St Mirren 1. That's the full-time scoreline. So Aberdeen, great win for them, as you say. They've leapfrogged Hibs. They're on 21 points after that this afternoon, Chris.
As Sakala runs at the full back again. I think he's dying for a goal.
Wants to get a goal for you.
I know. No, but he's been good, hasn't he?
Hamilton take the points which they needed. Hamilton 1, Dunfermline 0. Albion Rovers 2, Forfar 3. And also Division 2, Cowdenbeath 1, Stirling Albion 0. Chris playing out the last 90 seconds or so.
Yeah, that's it, done now. Final whistle. 3-0. Simon Donnelly won. You get a free Go Radio mug. Well done.
Yep.
Yeah.
But that was a comfortable performance, wasn't it, by Rangers? I actually enjoyed watching the game. I think if you were a fan there as well, you'd have enjoyed watching that performance. I think Giovanni Van Bronckhorst will probably say that in his interview, that he enjoyed his team watching today. Probably just a little bit disappointed that they didn't score more goals, but it'd be very pleasing how well he opened up the Dundee defence and had clear opportunities inside the box. It wasn't as if there were shots outside the box. All of the actions came from inside the box, so they opened up the Dundee defence really well. And if it wasn't for the Dundee goalkeeper, it would have been a lot more.
Morton and Ayr finished 2-2 as well. I know it's further down the table, but yeah,
all good draws are
indeed.
good, aren't they?
Yeah, so
Morton will be disappointed with that. Obviously, I don't know if it was 2-1 to them, but
yep.
Well, I know they were winning 1-0.
They were 1-0. They went 2-1 down, so they came back.
They came back,
Yep.
but they've still not got a home win,
Yep.
which is probably a little bit concerning. But I've played against Morton. They're a good team. They'll be all right.
Be okay.
Yep.
You're quite confident for them there. For Rangers, then it's recovery time now, and get ready for the trip to Lyon. Not that it's that far over to France. As Clyde and Peterhead finished 2-2, so Peterhead were 1 up, then 2 up. But that's a good comeback by Clyde. As Wolves and Liverpool have just scored. Simon Donnelly, just as you pointed at it, we don't know who the scorer is yet, but the goal's just gone in seconds ago.
Yeah,
so Liverpool,
just watching on the screen, it was Paul Merson who's reporting on the game here. Get very excited. I knew something had happened. It's popped up Liverpool 1-0 at the death. It could be a really important goal. 3 points going back to Anfield. You know, it's been a difficult afternoon. They're in the 95th minute there.
Origi has scored.
Origi has popped up with a vital goal for Liverpool.
Just watching Hibs Motherwell still 1-1 deep into added on time there, but that could be a huge goal for Liverpool.
That is a huge goal,
Isn't
isn't
it?
it?
Yeah.
Probably didn't look as if he started the match, but he's came on and made a difference. You know, you always ask your substitutes to make a difference.
Yep.
And he scored with a minute to spare.
Cove Rangers 2, Dumbarton 0, Montrose 1, Kelty Hearts 1. And
penalties.
Yeah, penalties in the cup. Yep. And it's full time at Easter Road. Hibs 1, Motherwell 1. So
as we said at the start, I thought the game would be tight. You know, both teams got a couple of, Hibs obviously got a good cup win, but they were struggling for some domestic wins. I think they would have been a welcome home win today. But Motherwell have had some good results over the last week. They'll be happy with the way they've went about their business, beating Dundee United during the week and picking up a point at Easter Road. But that was a tough one to call today.
Do you want some more good news? Arbroath 0, Wraith Rovers 0.
That's even better.
Full time.
My day's going well,
isn't it? Yeah.
It is.
You can celebrate tonight. Your birthday. East Fife 1, Alloa 1. Barry's Alloa a draw. They went down to 10 men, and
at least they picked up a point, Paul.
Yeah,
you know,
sure.
Going a man down, conceding late on. You know, it's easy to then get caught in that rut where you concede again. You don't know how important that point could be at the end of the season for Barry. So
yep.
You know, they're still in a good position where they've caught up a little bit in Falkirk, even though it's by 1 point.
So Celtic tomorrow playing at Dundee United, and they have to go and look for those 3 points.
Yeah, title race, they have to win. Rangers apply the pressure again today. It'll be a difficult game. I'm looking at Dundee United sitting fourth in the table. It'll be a difficult game there tomorrow. Celtic had a couple of injuries, 2 or 3 injuries during the week. It'll be interesting to see if any of them make it. But yeah, I anticipate a difficult game for Celtic. But it's another one they have to go and win.
Yeah, Thomas Coates has done ever so well since he stepped in, hasn't he? They've got
terrific.
They've got a great home form as well. You know, they've picked up 15 points from 7 games. You know, and they've beat the likes of Rangers, Motherwell, Aberdeen, and won the Dundee derby. So they've got good players as well, and they play in the right way. So I know they've got a good result against Celtic before, drawn 1-1, so they know they can actually do it. But Celtic have to close that gap again to 4 points.
In England, Brighton have equalised in the 98th minute of play. Beware what we ask for. 1-1, but they're still playing. And Liverpool have taken the points. Wolves 0, Liverpool 1. In the Premiership here, the Cinch Premiership in Scotland, Rangers 3, Dundee 0. Aberdeen 4, St Mirren 1. And the other game we just mentioned. Well, we lost, of course, St Johnstone against Ross County. That match was postponed, and Hibs 1, Motherwell 1. Graham Alexander, he'll be chuffed to come away with a point, I would imagine. So the table has Rangers on 39 points, Celtic on 32, they play tomorrow, Hearts on 27, Dundee United on 25, Motherwell also now in 25 points, and on Aberdeen, so they're on 21, they leapfrog Hibernian. So it's Aberdeen now on top 6, and Hibs fall out of that into the bottom 6. St Mirren stay on the 17 points, Dundee stay on 16. There's no change there. St Johnstone on 14, and Livy on 13, Ross County on 11.
That'll be good for Livingston.
Yep.
Because Livingston could maybe leapfrog a few teams there with their results. So
Marvin was on here, as you know,
Yep.
Marvin Bartley on Thursday night, and I think, quietly confident that they will pick up points.
yeah, and their home form hasn't been great. I think they've only beat Celtic at home, which something everybody says that the home form's always good. So I'm sure a result tomorrow will be very welcomed.
What's your scoreline tomorrow? What do you think for Dundee United Celtic? Chris Burke, what do you reckon?
I fancy Celtic. Obviously Dundee United didn't get a good result the last game, and I think Celtic will have a little bit too much. Also, the last time they played them, the Celtic have improved again, and I just think they'll win the game. I'm going for 2-0.
Kyogo scoring again, do you think? Or
Yeah, he's every opportunity to score, hasn't he? He's just, even though I've noticed in the game against Hearts he had the least amount of touches, but he scored, and I think that's something where you're a really good striker when that happens. You don't touch the ball, and he doesn't get frustrated either. He constantly makes the runs. You get strikers that might make the runs, don't have touches and give up. He doesn't give up, and that's why he got his goal.
I think his movement's fantastic. I've watched him at close quarters, and as Chris says there, he doesn't give up. He keeps and see, the more understanding he gets with the midfielders, I think they'll start finding him with the runs. I think sometimes he makes a run and they're not quite up to speed with him, but he seems to be in the right place at the right time between the sticks, as he shows the other night. And I am agreeing with Burkey. I think Celtic will win 2-0 tomorrow as well.
James, were they brilliant?
James,
Yeah.
Tremendous.
But was that your favourite?
Tremendous.
What was the
Take me-
best song? Is it
Getting away with it.
all right?
Do you know
Okay.
that one?
Yeah, I do.
Sit down,
I
sit
do.
down's a
Sit
big
down
one,
gets-
but
yeah,
the whole set was fantastic and took me down memory lane.
brilliant. Chris, for you, your next game,
My next game is Raith Rovers away.
of
So a
course,
tough one.
Starks Park. Your first time playing there.
Yeah, first time playing there.
Chris, enjoy your night out with David
Thank you.
Marshall and your wives. Take it easy tonight.
Yes.
You as well,
Good week
Paul.
for you.
Thank you.
And we'll be back. Obviously, we'll keep you up to date tomorrow. And then Monday night, live at 5.
The Go Radio Football Show with thetaxicentre.com. Your exclusive taxi trade savings are waiting on you.
Let's go.
Where do taxi drivers go when they need to buy a taxi? Well, the Taxi Centre have supplied cars to the trade for over 20 years, and they stock a huge range of motors from the world's leading manufacturers: Skoda, Kia, Toyota, Mercedes, Nissan, Ford, Hyundai, you name it. They've got saloons, MPVs, estates, minibuses, prestige cars, the lot, all under one roof, ready for immediate collection or free delivery anywhere on the mainland UK. With taxi trade exclusive discounts, flexible finance options and no hidden fees. They even throw in registration and 12 months road tax. So if you're a taxi driver who needs a new or used taxi, where would you go? Thetaxicentre.com. Trade only.